Hello, everyone. This is another episode of the Essays and Espresso podcast. We're coming back with you with a discussion about pirates.
Yay.
Pirates of the Caribbean, in fact. And this is all because of you, Bouken.
Yeah.
You brought this upon this podcast. What do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, I regret it a little, I have to say.
A little, he says.
No, it was... Let's see. Let's see how much time we can fill with this. I actually have some takes. I have one take that I think will...
You have takes? I think we all have takes.
Yeah, okay. Let's see where this goes.
All right, but before we get into like the discussion proper, maybe we should talk about like our history with pirates, if we have any. Acer, what was your initial foray into the world of Pirates of the Caribbean?
I was a kid, and these movies were popular. And actually, I've told it. I don't know if I told this story on this podcast before. I have told this story before. My mom was dating the Icelandic heavyweight boxing champion at the time of the third movie releasing, and
okay.
And so he one day, like, he invited me to the cinema. It's just me and him, you know. It's just like trying to be cool, like hanging out with me and my little sister. But it was just me and him. It was like a good time. And we go to the cinema, and you know, he pays for everything. He's like super nice. It was a fun time, except for the fact that he had absolutely no decorum. He's like on his phone talking to like some friends of his really loud for like minutes at a time while the movie's playing. And there's a guy behind us who was complaining at him. He's like, "Hey, you know, you need to be quiet." And then he started shouting at him, being like really angry and aggressive with him. And so I was like kind of like nervous. And around the break time, he asked me like, "Hey, okay, do you want to like I'm gonna get some popcorn. Do you want something?" Or I was like, "Yeah, can I maybe get a small popcorn?" Because I was so insecure, I didn't want to ask for anything too much, you know. And I was like, "Yeah, no problem." And the guy who complained, he didn't return. And I always thought, oh my god, he must have beat the shit out of him. So that's
I think you have told the story before, actually.
Yeah, I think I have told this story before, but it's a formative experience for me going to the cinema.
Incredible. Okay, that's your history with pirates?
That's my history with pirates. Yeah, like, you know, these movies were popular when I was younger. The kids, we would always watch these movies. This is actually one of those movies like the Lord of the Rings, the original trilogy. Like, if you got the DVDs for these movies, there's a lot of really, really interesting making of stuff. This is one of those great, see the magic of movie making movies.
Yeah, that was the era where DVDs were actually pretty cool because they would just stuff so much like shit in them. Like, yeah, commentaries, like behind the scenes stuff. Like some of them even had like pretty primitive, but like some of them would even have like video games that you could play. Like that era of DVDs was pretty neat. And nowadays it's like nowhere near as fun.
Do you remember the National Treasure scavenger hunt? You had to solve all the clues and find all the hidden symbols in the DVD menu.
I never owned that one, so that's interesting.
Understandable.
I've never seen National Treasure, actually.
Also understandable. It's not a good movie.
There's multiple, right?
I mean, it's got Nicolas Cage in it, so it's probably at least... It has
some
some
sign of quality.
Value, I imagine.
There's two of them. At least with him in it. Maybe
Only
they did
two.
another
Okay.
one without him. But they always talk about doing a third one.
Yeah.
My history with the movies actually dates way before the movies ever came out.
Huh.
Gentlemen, did you know that there is a Pirates of the Caribbean ride?
Oh, yes, of course.
That's what this was based on, no?
Yes, the movies are based on the ride. So I've been on that ride like hundreds of times at this point. It's the type of ride that you go on when you're in Disney World and you've ridden everything else. You've explored the rest of the park, and it's like the final ride you usually go on because it's like a nice chill, like, oh, we're just going to sit in this boat and we're just going to see some like animatronics. It's not like a particularly exciting ride, but it's cool to just like sit down and be like, oh, look, that pirate's like chasing around a woman. And then later on, the woman is now chasing the pirate with like a broomstick or something. It's like,
do you know the
silly antics?
Do you guys know the history of the making of this movie? Like, because it actually connects really funnily to video games.
No.
So I do not, but I was gonna ask because I watched the behind the scenes for the first movie.
Yeah.
And they didn't mention anything about the ride. But I'm curious, like, I mean, they have, like, the first movie, not to get right into it right now, but the first movie is quite involved in terms of, like, characters and the plot and stuff like that. And I'm wondering how much of that is in the ride, or if they really just came up.
I think none of it is in the ride. Like, the ride is just, like, dead men tell no tales, and like a couple of lines like that.
Yeah.
So like the ride is like pretty bare bones in terms of story, right? It's literally just like you're just seeing pirates like try to take over this town, and then by the end of the pirates like
sing and dance or
fail.
Oh, they fail.
They fail, and then so like there is one iconic part of the ride that is in the movie where like there's a dog with like the keys in its mouth, and all the pirates are like, "Come on, give me the key, give me the key." That's straight from the ride.
That's good. But so the movie, I think the original trilogy was written by what are their names? There's two guys. One of them is like Terry Reeves or whatever, but I don't remember what he's named. I think the other guy is named Stephen McFreely, and before writing Pirates of the Caribbean, and I'm like, this is me thinking back on a Cracked article I read like 15 years ago. Before writing Pirates of the Caribbean, he had been contracted to write a movie adaptation of The Secrets of Monkey Island. And when you play, and when you play it, it's like, okay, wait a minute. Undead pirate enemy, it's like Guybrush Threepwood is Will Turner. It's like, you just draw all these connections. It's like, oh, okay, they maybe just reworked that script. I don't think there was a Johnny Depp character in that script, though, and like he changes the entire dynamic. But so yeah, that I found to be a very, very engaging theory back in the day.
That's fascinating.
That's cool.
And
actually,
it makes sense.
Yeah,
Barbossa is kind of like a LeChuck type character.
Yeah, I think they even have the. Don't they have the from the third movie that pirate stronghold fortress area? I think they have that in one of the the Monkey Island games.
Maybe. I'm only really familiar with like the first game.
Yeah.
They have they have Melee Island. No, wait. They have Pirate Islands, which is kind of like Tortuga, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that's
interesting.
I found that really interesting. I think his name is Stephen McFreely, but maybe it was the other guy. But yeah,
that's very interesting. I just think it's interesting that if it really is just based on the ride. I mean, I've never seen the ride, obviously, but if it's like you could take it as a cynical ploy to advertise the ride. But the first movie, there's a lot of love and craft in it.
Oh yeah,
I really do not think it was a cynical ploy to advertise the ride, because the ride has been around since like the 60s. Like it's really old ride.
I think it's probably a case of, because they have the ride and the ride's sort of famous probably in Disney World circles, it's like, let's make a movie based on it. Because they did the same with like the Jungle Cruise recently with The Rock, and they did another one like Tomorrowland with like that was based on Tomorrowland in Walt Disney, and they did it with there's some other one that's more recent even, I think, but those ones always flop. But this one, I think this is a project that was sort of kicking around in Disney for a while, but then you get the good writers and you get Jerry Bruckheimer specifically, like super producer Jerry Bruckheimer. And they do the thing that George Lucas did when he made the Star Wars movies. He filmed them in England because the producers, they're in America, and so they can't micromanage. Peter Jackson did this when he made The Lord of the Rings. It's in New Zealand. So the producers, the executives, they can't see the dailies except like a day later. So you just insulate yourself from the money people, and then you can make real art, and they film this, on location. Like they built these enormous, elaborate sets. Whenever I think about these movies, there's always that scene in Cutler Beckett's room where they're like painting the map or whatever. And I think it's when he's talking to Jack Sparrow, or maybe he's talking to Norrington. He's talking to somebody, and there's an open window, and in the background there's a gigantic clock or a gigantic bell being raised by like ropes and pulleys, and there's like ships in the background. And if you watch the behind the scene, probably some of that is digitally inserted, but like, no, they actually did a lot of that stuff on location with real set, and just the love and the craft. You see it in the sweat of the people in the locations. It's incredible.
Yeah.
That is actually really cool.
Yeah, as I said, I only watched the first behind the scenes, but it was really impressive.
Oh yeah.
Bringing it back real quick to the ride again, though. So, like I said, I've been riding this ride since I was a little kid. Like, this ride's super old, and I've been like very familiar with it.
Did you ride it before the movies even?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like I said, I was like, these movies came out when I was like in middle school and high school.
I forget you guys are older than me.
I rode this ride when I was like 3.
Wow.
Like, I've been going to Disney World since I was like an infant. So I was like very familiar with the ride beforehand. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because after the movies came out, they actually went back and updated the ride. And now Jack Sparrow is in the ride.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember vividly the very first time I noticed, and it added an extra like layer to the ride, because now it's like, oh, now I'm trying to see if I can find Jack Sparrow. And it actually made the ride a little more fun, a little more interesting. Because I'd seen that ride like a bunch of times, but now I'm like, oh, where the fuck is Jack Sparrow? And and his his animatronic is like way more advanced, and like, because those are the same. Those are the same animatronics I had been using for decades. Oof. But like his was newer, so like his looked a lot better and was more detailed, and the animations were more fluid.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's also a good showcase of like how executives always get they always have really bad impulses, because when they saw the first dailies from Pirates of the Caribbean when they were filming it, they were terrified that Johnny Depp was ruining the movie. I think like and like, we can maybe talk about this later.
Let's put a name on it. You're talking specifically about Michael Eisner, who was the head of Disney at the time.
Yes, who saw it and who thought, he's too gay. He's too gay. He's ruining it. And you just watch this and you're like, how on earth is that your takeaway? Like, why do you not see that you have here a multi-billion-dollar franchise that hinges on this specific character? Like, how can you be so ignorant about what you're looking at?
Yeah.
Because he was an old man that didn't know what the fuck.
Yes, an old suit.
I think Michael Eisner. I think he did some good stuff earlier in his career. I think he's like,
he did.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, but probably.
No, you're absolutely right. He was actually brought in specifically because I forget the name of the guy who was in charge at the time, but like Roy Disney, who was like Walt Disney's nephew, he was like, this fucking guy is ruining the company. Like, he doesn't understand Walt's vision, and he specifically picked out Eisner, and he's like, I want Eisner to take over. And Eisner, I think it was like in the 80s, and Eisner actually genuinely did like turn things around. Disney was going down, but during the 80s, because of Eisner.
So he kickstarted like the animation renaissance and all that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was under his stewardship. Yes.
All right.
I think that was mostly Katzenberg, specifically. He was more of the one that was hands-on with the animation. Like, Katzenberg was the guy that was behind The Lion King, for example.
Yeah.
Before he left and created Shrek. And specifically put in Lord Farquaad, who is supposed to be like making fun of Michael Eisner.
That's pretty good.
Okay, we're way out in the weeds
here. Is
here.
A petty bastard.
We're kind of we're wearing off.
We're way out in the weeds. Let me go.
We are. So I'm done talking about my history with the movies. Like I said, I loved the ride. Well, not loved it, but it was a fun ride. and I saw the movies when I was in middle school and high school. And I didn't even know that the other movies came out. I think I heard of the fourth movie. I had no idea there was a fifth one. Mm-hmm. So this was my first time watching the fourth and fifth. Bouken, what is your history with these movies?
Yeah, well, my history is I watched the first one when it came out. And it was one of my favorite movies back then. It still is today, I have to say. Like, I've rewatched this multiple times. It's still in my top 10 of movies of all time, I think.
Okay. And
I did check out the second and the third one, of course. Mm-hmm. It's just these movies, I feel like they turned me into someone who loves the aesthetic of the Caribbean specifically. Mm-hmm. And also like pirate stuff. Like, it's not something I seek out all the time, but it's definitely one of my favorite settings. And these movies have a lot to do with it.
Okay.
And then eventually I decided to check out the other ones, like the fourth and the fifth one, also rewatch everything else.
And that was when we had the podcast, wasn't it?
Well, no, yes. I talked about it on the podcast, but you weren't there, Aesir. Oh. I talked about it for like 10 minutes. We talked about it from time to time, but not really in a specific episode, you know. And
I do remember you bringing it up.
Yeah, I brought it up. I didn't re-listen to what I said back then. I guess it will be quite the same. But I wanted to have this full discussion because I do think they're interesting in their own way, and I think we come at these from different angles, probably. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 5 movies wasn't too much, and then I was curious how I feel about them now.
I joked before we started recording. I asked you guys whether you saw the animated series too. It was like a very funny joke, but I think that is kind of interesting that these movies always made money, even at the tail end when everybody was tired of them. That I think the last movie still made like $700 or $800 million or something crazy, and like
Jesus, really?
Yeah, and like they were always the most expensive movies in the world. I think the fourth one is still like more expensive than those crazy Avengers movies they make, but really? It probably has been eclipsed. But like for a while, that was the most expensive movie ever made. That one, or maybe the third one.
That's ridiculous.
That's interesting.
That is it. But like my point is, these movies cost a lot of money to make every time. They made a shit ton of money, but there's nothing else. Like I find that so interesting that they didn't do an animated series.
Well, I find it interesting that they haven't done a remake yet.
Yeah, well, they've been toying around with that apparently, but
like I don't really see why not.
I did some light research on this. So apparently, when they were making the 5th movie, they were supposedly already working on a 6th movie, but for whatever reason, it just didn't pan out, and they never.
I wonder what the reason was. It is. I think the problem, just fundamentally, with this franchise is that. So we'll get into our thoughts on the specific movies, but I am one of the big defenders of the third movie. I recognize maybe a dip in quality. I really like that movie. What I love about it is... You
can't see me shaking my head right now.
What I love about it is that it does, for whatever problems it has, it really just embraces the crazy world building. Every scene basically takes place in a new crazy location with new zany characters, and you get to see just how involved this world is. But the movies, they seem to not be able to get rid of Jack Sparrow. And, we don't really want to litigate Johnny Depp's personal life, like that, his problems with substance abuse and all that. But it's kind of, the Marvel movies, you have Robert Downey Jr. commanding $50 million paychecks, but you have all these other characters. The Pirates movies, you just have Johnny Depp. And you have Barbossa too, until you didn't. But, I think that's sort of the fundamental problem with this franchise, is that you have this one guy and you need to pay him $50 million every time. And I think it's so weak because I think this universe is much more interesting than just Jack Sparrow.
So I hear you, but I was real quick. I hear you, but I think the real problem, and I do think that is part of it, but I also feel like it was only ever meant to be those first 3 movies. Like those first 3 movies feel like a beginning, middle, and end.
A filmmaker makes a movie.
And they're all directed by the same guy, too. So it feels like a consistent, cohesive vision, regardless of what problems the third movie may have, and we'll get into it.
I don't even agree with that.
You don't agree with that?
Do you guys... Okay, is there confirmation, I didn't look this up actually, that they always plan to make a trilogy out of it?
Well, it started out as one movie, but then they brought the creative gang back together, and they made a trilogy. And
so it was initially only one movie.
I can't imagine they originally planned, because they don't seed the second or the third movie at all in the first movie.
Okay,
they don't seed the second and third movies specifically, but there is a teaser at the end of the first movie that does imply like, hey, we could do more.
That is true. But I think it was always like, if they like, I think probably when they're writing it, when they're filming, they like, this is fun, we could do this again. Like they're probably kicking up some other ideas, but I don't think they settle, because there is, I also think, like release dates, isn't it like the first one is in 2003 and then the second one is like 2006 and then 2007, and then you have like another gap of another 4 years, and it's like 2011.
Actually, I think
then another 6 years.
I think the gap was more severe. Actually, I think the first one came out in 2002.
Oh yeah, okay. But yeah, so like the first one was clearly its own project, and then the second and third, they did those simultaneously. And then they just sort of, the slow wheels of blockbuster production is like, yep, now we take 6 years to make another one, and 6 years to make another one.
It's actually, so the first one is 2003, second one is 2006, and then 2000.
Okay, so it was 2000.
Oh wow, I got that all right.
Yeah, you got it right.
But that's, you can kind of see that the second and third movie came together.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, the problem was always that the first movie stands on its own.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
I always got the impression that it was never planned, or like initially not planned to have anything else. But of course, they made a lot of money, and let's get into the first movie.
I do agree. Yeah.
Let's get into the first movie, and then we can go into like the world building implication afterwards, I think.
All right.
Because so the first movie, right, is, as I said, is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it holds up. And this is one of the movies I would just call perfect. I think everything about this is flawless.
Mm-hmm.
From the soundtrack to the atmosphere, the characters.
The environments are gorgeous.
The environments, the production is insane. And also like the tone of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is, I think I said this back then too, but this feels like a real pirate movie. And then you have this, then you just have this element of the undead crew, of the curse in it. If you take that out, it's just a pirate movie.
Yeah.
It's just like 2 pirate crews and the Navy. And they're like fighting each other, basically. And that's why it feels so fucking real to me. But it's not too serious. It's not Black Flag or anything. Black Sails is that show is called, I think. It's not super, grimy or depressing or anything, but it feels like just pirates on a ship and in caves and, this Caribbean city. And that's why I love the atmosphere of it all. And it's at the same time adventurous. It's a little bit funny, but people take it all very seriously, unlike in the later movies. It's just, it just works out. And then, I don't know. Go ahead.
Did you guys see Mouse Hunt?
No.
It's by that's another movie directed by Gore Verbinski. It's a decent enough movie. It's about these 2 boys who inherit like a string factory, and like Christopher Walken is there, and he's like hunting the mice, and it's like it's like sort of slapstick sort of indie movie that he did before this. But something I love about the first one, and what I consider the we'll talk about the 4th and 5th ones later. One thing I want to point out right away is that the first one is the funniest of all of these movies. The second and third, even as much as I like them, immediately they're just not as funny as the first one. And the first one specifically, when you think about like a funny scene in the 5th movie, it's like, aha, Jack Sparrow is in the safe. And oh no, the mayor is there. And oh no, the mayor's wife is with Jack Sparrow. And it's just like people pointing out and saying the things that's funny.
Yeah.
Or like the wedding scene that's equally atrocious. But in Pirates 1, it's a lot of visual comedies. Like he sails in on like a ship and it's sinking, and then the guy asks for a toll, and it's just like the camera shows the ship sunk there, and it's just like it's very clear that somebody who has these jokes probably came together in the director's head, like somebody who had an eye for cinema and how to communicate like comedy visually, and not just a guy writing a script. So that's my contribution to that.
It's like, but it's also, it's like, I would agree it's the funniest one. It's also the one with the least amount of jokes, though. They're just really well communicated, and they're not like, because later movies just have slapstick and like stupid Marvel quips, where it's just like, they're trying to be way more funny than they are, and this one is just this is just a natural comedy by the actions that are happening. Like again, the sunken ship, or Jack Sparrow, he did this, and now you just have a comedic scene from there. But
it feels more organic,
and it's mostly also only Jack Sparrow. That makes him such an interesting character, is that everybody around him is just really taking it seriously. I mean, Barbossa is like playing himself up, it's like a theatrical performance in itself, but he's not constantly making dumb jokes.
No. And Barbossa is such a good villain.
Dude, I love Barbossa. He's the one like thing that you can point at. He's consistently good no matter what.
He is the sole redeeming quality of these movies as they progress, I feel.
Yeah.
And not because they do
he never phones it in.
No, that's the thing, is that his character becomes ridiculous and he has crap to do, but Jeffrey Rush, God bless him, he always gives 100%.
Yeah. He's so over the top sometimes. It's really funny.
No, he's fantastic, and I love Davy Jones, actually, in the other movies.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
I think Davy Jones is pretty awesome.
Bill Nye.
But, Bill Nye, what?
Yeah, it's Bill Nye.
Actor, Bill Nye. The dad from Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, for a second there, I thought you meant Bill Nye, the science guy. I was like, what? That's not him.
That's him.
There's no shot.
You can see the big bow tie.
It's underneath his tentacles.
No, I gotcha. Yeah, Davy Jones is great.
But yeah, Barbossa is perfect as the villain in the first movie. He's great in the other movies as well, but absolutely no notes in that first movie. Just every time he's on screen, you fucking buy everything he's saying. Yeah. And I think one of the best lines in the whole series was when Miss Swan sees all of the pirates, as skeletons, and he's like, "You best start believing in ghost stories. You're in one."
Yeah.
Such an easy line to be delivered as just a ridiculous farce, or to come across as insanely oh, wow, that's a bit over the top. No, he delivers it perfectly.
Yeah.
He sells it so hard.
Because he is playful, but at the same time, it's very threatening,
Yeah.
It is, he feels ruthless. He's threatening. But it's at the same time, he does have this aura about himself, and he does like to play around with her and with anybody else as well. It's a great character.
He definitely has aura.
He has the problem, though, in subsequent movies that, like Seto Kaiba in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Vegeta in Dragon Ball has, where you have a previous antagonist and then you rework him to be, kind of a good guy. And, not to say that he becomes a substantially worse character or anything, I think, he's really intimidating in the first movie. He kind of loses it in the third one. Is that nobody responded there for a little bit? So
I was just thinking about it, and I'm not sure.
Well, because I was thinking about it because even in the later movies after that, he suddenly works for the British fleet.
Yeah,
and then
he
still
that
has
for his own gain.
And it's
but people are still following him, and he gets employment.
And it's he's he's still Barbossa. He's still playful and charismatic and kind of foppish, but he doesn't have that sort of intense, just this is a really dangerous guy. And, fair enough, he's not immortal anymore, but I kind of feel like, you would have wanted to maybe, like, I can see a version of this where you actually, like, if they hadn't brought him back all the time, maybe he could have been a more sort of sinister presence if you want to reuse him in a later movie as like the main villain again. But,
No, yeah, you're right. He does have the Vegeta quality to him where like initially he's like the biggest fucking badass and like Goku can barely beat him, But then
who the
now
fuck
he's just
is
a buddy.
Yeah.
I joke. I know who Goku is.
Oh.
But at the same time, like even in the later movies, Barbossa is always the one who is at least competent, while Johnny Depp is like bumbling around more and more. And Barbossa doesn't have any plan really go wrong,
No. And also, I talked about this in the server, in the chat we have, but I find it so sad watching the fourth movie because, again, you have super producer Jerry Bruckheimer pumping out hundreds of millions of dollars to actually build these giant ships, assail them on the set. And in the fourth movie, you watch it, and there'll be like a scene of Barbossa, and he's like Jeffrey Rush in full costume steering a ship in the Caribbean, and the camera like zooms out to see the entire ocean, and then it'll like cut to Johnny Depp like scrubbing a deck on Blackbeard's ship, and it's just really painful. Like the background, it's all CGI. It's like the lighting looks like garbage. It's not natural lighting. Or he's just like in the jungle, and it's just like Johnny Depp just could not be bothered to fly out to the Caribbean to film that again. But then you watch every scene with Barbossa, and it's just this is what these movies are supposed to look like.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But I think I generally agree, Bouken, that like the first movie still holds up really well. Mm-hmm. It's still a good, fun movie. I don't love the movie as dearly as you do, but even watching the movie again, I was still like, yeah, this is still a really fun, enjoyable movie. It's very good for what it is. It's very charming. You can definitely appreciate like the level of detail that they put into everything, right? Like the costumes, the sets, the environments, like, and you could tell like because the material is new and fresh, like the cast hasn't gotten cynical yet. So like everyone is treating the material, seriously, and everything has like a certain like heft and weight to it that I feel is like missing in the later films. But in particular, I feel like you make a good point about this movie could have removed the supernatural elements and it would just be a good pirate movie, right? But like, I think the addition of the supernatural elements is really good because that's the thing though, because if you go back and you watch like a bunch of older Pirates movies, a lot of them don't have that supernatural angle to them. So this actually gives this movie like a more unique like identity.
Mm-hmm.
It's because that's the thing, right? Pirates historically were extremely superstitious. So for a movie to actually acknowledge and validate and justify those fears is a really cool concept. Like, yes, ghosts are real, and they expand it more in the other movies, but like I think the balance was just right in this first movie where it's like, yeah, these are like ghosts, or not ghosts, but like these are people that were cursed, and they're sailing on this ship, and they can own, like, I think it's something like they can't touch land, or I don't know, I forget the specific rules, but like there is all these like little intricacies to how it all works, because again, that's how pirates would talk about these superstitions back in the day. They would have these like weird beliefs that didn't really make any sense, and all these like weird rules, and again, applying that all into the movie, it just makes sense, and it adds to that kind of like folklore, folk tale kind of like vibe to the film that that again, I think that the later movies leaned into way too
much. Yeah. See,
it makes the world feel very lived in. That all the characters take all of this stuff so seriously.
Yeah. I would say. I think this movie is definitely way more than just a fun adventure. Because if you just look at the cultural impact it had, right? It's like Jack Sparrow, and like it's a super iconic character with a super iconic performance that probably everybody knows.
Oscar nominated, I believe.
Oscar nominated, yeah, sure. Like just his introduction where he comes sailing on the boat, and it's while it's sinking, and he still has this grandeur about him as he like lands on the dock, but then it zooms out and his boat is basically underwater already. There's such a good fucking scene. It's like this vision of what this character is supposed to be, and you immediately get it, And then the soundtrack,
pirates that have been hanged.
Yeah. and then the soundtrack is like everybody knows this fucking soundtrack. It's so famous, and it's so good too. And
have you seen The Rock?
The Rock?
Michael Bay's The Rock. It has the same soundtrack.
Yeah, not the wrestler.
It has the same soundtrack. Hans Zimmer just sampled his soundtrack from The Rock, used it again here. It's way better here.
Interesting. Okay.
But there's a lot of familiar notes if you listen to the soundtrack from there.
But it's like, and I feel like the soundtrack is one of the few things that stays consistently good throughout the series. Actually,
yeah, but it's I think in the first 3 movies they really they build on top of the soundtrack, like Davy Jones's like that sort of sad song, and then they can play that with like the organ. It's really powerful. In the 4th and 5th movie, like the soundtrack is good because they're just reusing a soundtrack that was already good. They're not adding much to it, I don't think. But like what's an iconic score from the 4th or 5th movie?
I fucking felt myself like cringe and moan every time I heard in the 4th and 5th movies dun 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 dun. I was just like, really? We're still doing the same like music cues?
You haven't earned that music cue.
Movie. I get that. Because the 4th and 5th movie, I think every movie except the first one are lesser movies. And then it feels kind of cynical when they reuse the same soundtrack. I get that. I feel that all the time with Star Trek, believe me.
It literally feels like the movie is going, remember? Hey, do you remember this?
Dude, I watched new Star Trek. I know this feeling all too well. But I will say...
You're one of the 40,000?
I will say that even in like the 5th movie, I was noticing moments where it's like they're hiding or they're trying to be stealthy, and then the soundtrack changes into these plucky strings and stuff like that. Even these, and then in the 4th movie when they confront the Spanish army, they are in the Spanish camp, and then suddenly it's like Spanish guitars playing instead. They have these little details in there.
Maybe I need to listen to the soundtrack there. I think it's just because those movies aren't as good. I haven't watched them as often, so I wouldn't click on the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's totally fair. And when a lesser movie starts playing these really famous songs, it's like, yeah, you're trying, I know. But I think they were still putting effort into the composition.
I hear you, but like, I don't know, it didn't bother me in the 2nd and 3rd movies in the way it did in the 4th and 5th movies. Like it felt, I was particularly annoyed in the last 2 movies. I mean, I guess you could make the argument that it was still kind of cynical in the 2nd and 3rd movies, but I just didn't feel that way watching it. Like, and I think part of that is because like it's the same director, it's the same like vision. Like I felt like that Gore, whatever his name is,
Gore
Verbinski, he had like a more solid idea of like what he want these movies to be, and the fucks that made like the 4th and 5th movies didn't have that same grasp.
Well, they were, so Gore Verbinski, again, he like had super producer Jerry Bruckheimer backing him, so there's no upper brass at Disney going to come over and take over the movie for him. The 4th movie, I don't remember who directed it. It may have been, I know either the 4th or the 5th movie, it's probably the 5th one, was directed by the Norwegian guys who did a Kon-Tiki, which is like, I think it wasn't like an Oscar-nominated foreign film kind of movie, but it's like, it's the same thing Marvel does, where you hire these directors that, interesting filmmakers maybe, but then you like you put them into this $1 billion franchise, and you just like you need to let them be in full control because like they don't know how to work the machinery, and you don't know how to make a good movie. So it's like you know, a bad balance. I think one of the great strengths of the first movie, I think this is a perfect romp. I think it's like a 10 out of 10 movie. I think it's flawless. And any flaw you can find in the movie is you can nitpick anything, but like this is a movie you can always just start playing it from beginning to end. You can jump in at any point. It's perfect. Just like, it's like The Burbs, perfect movie. It's like Big Trouble in Little China, perfect movie. It's up there with for me, but it also has that epic scale that I think pushes it into like an even higher tier, because this is, as the great Martin Scorsese says in the memes, this is cinema. This is the best that this medium has to offer, kind of deal. So I think very highly of this movie.
So, but it only has the scale if you don't compare it to the other movies, right? Because I have to say, the fact that it is so contained on these like 3 ships and the cave and the town, that's what makes me like it even more.
Yeah.
Compared to the other movies.
I see that, like relatively, the world gets bigger in the later ones. I'm more talking about like the scale of movie making, of you bring 1,000 people. Yeah, you bring 1,000 people to the Caribbean and you just build this town in an island and like you occupy this, like all of that stuff is great. Every character is just the best character. Like Norrington is my favorite character in all of these movies. And I think that Jack Davenport, who plays him, super underrated actor. I think that bringing him back in the second movie, I think that's like the best creative choice they could have made. Like that love triangle with like Elizabeth, because like he is such an interesting character, and I love him because it's, you have the British Empire who are sort of like the antagonists through Cutler Beckett, but also like they're not the bad guys necessarily. They're just like this sort of constrained sort of society. Then you have the pirates who are like bad, ranging to like, oh no, they're just a bit more libertine or whatever. But what I love about Norrington is you have like, oh no, he's also the hero of the movie. We just aren't focusing on him. Like he's like, there are good guys on many sides here.
I was actually just about to say, if the movie was written differently, like slightly differently, he could have been the protagonist instead of Will Turner, and it still would have worked.
Totally. Yeah. And like the second movie too, I think. Like they kind of furlough his character in the third movie. He's barely in it. I love his death though, because it's like, no, actually I'm gonna stand up for this, and it's like, okay. But they kind of just squander his character, I think. But yeah, back to the first movie.
It did feel. Yeah, that's one of the problems with the third movie is it felt like his character had more to do, and they were just like, nah, he's just dead now.
Well, like, the third movie's big problem. That's unsatisfying. The third movie's big problem is that it is just sort of closing off all of these conflicts from the second movie, and it doesn't. It doesn't get to. Yeah, and it's too long, and it's not doing enough of its like own thing. It's just like this extended answer to all of these questions from the second movie. But back on the first one, like I said, every character is so great. Gibbs? Are you kidding me?
One thing more I love about Cutler Beckett, by the way, at the end of the first movie, he is sort of the villain.
Cutler Beckett even him. Cutler Beckett.
Norrington.
Yeah,
he is sort of the villain of the first movie, but even he at the end is like accepts Jack Sparrow, accepts that Elizabeth is not going to love him, and lets her be with Will. Even he admits defeat in. With pride at the end.
Yeah, he's still
really great turn.
He is the best representation of like his sort of class of British gentlemen in this military outfit, and he conducts himself with genuine like grace, and he like in a worse movie, you have a scene where he falls on his ass and does a fart, and everyone laughs at him, but it's like no, he gets his, and like in the second movie they like throw him to the pigs. But they don't do it, like, he's not played as, like, this foil we laugh at. Like, he's a character with his own dignity, and when he's mistreated, you feel bad, because he's like, no, like, this is a good guy.
Yeah, that scene where he gets thrown in the muck with the pig, like, that's not a scene you're meant to go, like, oh, what a rip bozo. You're kind of like, damn, this man carried himself with like grace, and now he's like, he's in the shitter.
And then afterwards he's on the ship and is like every time Johnny Depp opens his mouth is like, really? I'm supposed to believe that? Wait, you believe that? Seriously?
And also, it's such a great arc for him that he ends up taking the heart, and, he has this adventure and makes these friends and becomes one of the crew, but then he takes the heart, goes back to the Empire to get his, that's what he thinks he wants. But then he realizes, no, I don't want it. I care much more about Elizabeth and the gang than I do about this position here. Like, it is a really beautiful arc, and all of these characters, they get that. The first movie, the characters are more like tropey, like Pintel and Rigetti, the pirate clown boys. Like, they're just comic relief. But and like Will Turner and Elizabeth, like, it's kind of like A New Hope. All the characters, they're just sort of archetypes. They have like their arcs and whatever. But come the second movie, and this is why I love the second movie, they really deepen all of that. They really just drill down on, we need to really just explore this character in more depth.
I don't know if I agree about all of them. Some of them, sure.
Some of them.
Yeah.
A lot of my love for the second movie is Norrington, I suppose. No.
The last thing I think I have to say about the first movie is that I guess we can also talk about the production a bit, but the ending, like basically the entire third act, right? It's like, this is what I also think makes this movie so great, is that the script is super smart and extremely tight. Because at the end you have like this 3-way conflict between the crew of Johnny Depp and the crew of Barbossa and the Navy or the Armada. And it's like, 2 of them are sort of outside of the cave, some of them are inside the cave, and then they're starting to play each other, like Jack Sparrow starts playing the Navy, but the Navy's playing him back, and then some of them are entering the cave, the pirates meanwhile come out of the cave trying to kill them because they can walk underwater, shit like that,
What a cool
and it's
shot.
like it is so involved how like everybody is approaching this from a different angle, and it all makes sense, like everybody's plan makes sense. And then the fighting starts, And then it's the whole confrontation at the end where Johnny Depp curses himself without Barbossa knowing it, gets stabbed or shot, I don't know. It's revealed, he's actually undead, but he had the last coin that needed to be thrown in there. And then like he shoots Barbossa and lifts the curse at the same time. It's a great reveal, and that's how he beats him. It's incredibly well written for a blockbuster movie, I have to say.
Usually, whenever movies, you see this a lot in like romantic comedies, you have like the misunderstanding or some character lied, and that's like a whole story, and it's just, I hate that in movies. But here, the sort of switch around of, I'm Elizabeth Turner. And then it's like, wait a minute. Now we have like a massive interest in this lady, and also she has the coin, and it's like, it is handled so well.
And it's like, even that, the pirates are not, they're villains, but they're also not super big assholes, because it's, at first it's like, they're playing around with her, we're gonna draw your blood to lift the curse. But then it's like, it's just a cut on your hand, like we don't have to kill you.
Yeah, because she thought that they were going to kill her.
Yeah.
And they were like, nah, we just need your blood. And it's like, because at the end of the day, all they really want is to break their curse. That's it.
He said it's best not to, what did he say? Best not to spill it all right away or something? So he's still like being a bit intimidating, but
it's a bit intimidating. But I think it looks like they weren't actually planning on killing her because they don't have to. And then at the end, though, when they have the real Bill Turner, and then it's like, okay, no playing around. This time we cut his head off and draw all the blood, And then it's like, oh fuck, it's serious
just to
now
make
because
sure
they've been fucked up before,
And what great designs all of the crew has. Those pirates.
Dude, there's this one guy that I saw behind the scenes. There's a guy who likes throwing around bombs.
Yeah.
And his beard is smoking. And they actually, I didn't even see it in the movie, but his beard is smoking because they built him like this extra long beard. And they had little,
wicks.
I don't even know. Yeah, just, what do you, candles in the beard? And they had
wicks.
to put, wicks?
Wicks. It's the thread on
Oh, yeah. And they had to put it out and relight it every time they filmed a new a new shot.
Uh,
So every time they go to this guy and like reignite his beard so that it keeps smoking, and it's just this nothing background character, but they put so much effort into this shit. It's insane.
Oh, that's allegedly that's something the real life Blackbeard would do. He would have he would light his beard on fire with some mechanism to make himself look like the devil or something.
Interesting. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and just that guy. Again, Pintel and Rigetti, the comedy boys. What a great pairing. First of all, because again, it's like how you have just the range of not every single one of the enemy pirates is going to be like a crazy raping monster man. No, we have these morons too who we can have some fun with, and you have those other two guys in the British Army in the Navy. Who Jack sort of has to maneuver around when he's walking around the town in the beginning before he rescues Elizabeth. And it's those are sort of the same thing because it's not just a monolith. These are characters, and they're all really they all really stand out from one another.
And even with Pinto and Rigetti, for example, there's these little plot details where I think it's in the beginning when they raid the town. They have this chest, right, that they steal or something, and then they open it, and there's just all these women clothes in there. Oh fuck, we didn't find any gold. And then later in the movie, in the third act, they actually play the decoy on the ship in the women's clothes so that the people think, oh, there are two women that we have to save. It's all coming back. It's all super tight. So yeah, that's the first movie, I guess. Anything else to add? Absolute
I'm sure if anything else comes up, it'll be we can talk. We can circle back to it moving forwards.
For sure. The one thing I took a note on this because every time I see that scene is when they maroon Jack Sparrow and Elizabeth Swann on that island that he escaped from before, and then it's revealed there was just pirates here, and I drank rum with them, and then they took me off the island.
What a disappointing revelation.
What a great twist.
Yeah, of course, that's what happened.
What a great little plot twist. But then that scene where they get drunk and just dance on the beach. Every time I see that, I'm like, man, I wish I was there. I wish I was there on this fucking beach just drinking rum, getting drunk, enjoying the hot sand, it looks so fucking beautiful and chill. It's just, I love the Caribbean.
It's really funny when you watch the behind the scenes, the actor who plays Gibbs. I have this memory of in one of the behind the scenes docos, he's talking about how it's so much fun making these movies, but damn, it's so hot and I get so tired and I'm so sweaty and I have a headache all day because of the sun and it's just a miserable experience, but they all just brute force through it because they just love doing it so much.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's probably also a lot of makeup because everybody looks so dirty in these movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everyone looks excessive. It feels true to how pirates and sailors probably did look at the time, but man, they went hard to make everyone look fucked up.
Yeah.
So, all right, the second movie. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but while I'll probably concede that the first movie is the technically superior film, I think I prefer the second movie.
This is the correct opinion. I'm very happy you came to this conclusion, Daniel.
I just think the second movie's a lot of fun. I think I think it's a lot of fun to watch. I think the fight scenes in particular are really well choreographed. When they're running on the wheel and sword fighting and stuff, that stuff's really fun and cool to watch. Again, the first movie, yeah, it is a better constructed film. But man, when I sat down and watched the second movie, I just had a fucking blast.
As opposed to watching the first movie.
Yeah, what a drag.
What a drag. But the characters are still a lot of fun. It still has the same vibe of the first movie. I think the fight scenes are really amped up. And, Davy Jones fucking rules. Davy Jones is so awesome.
He is incredible.
Him and his crew are great. I love the creativity of their designs. You have that one pirate that's got the hammerhead, it's a cool idea. It was just fun. I don't know, man. I had a good time.
Okay, so there's a specific angle I'm coming from and why I find every movie after the first one so disappointing. And it's like exactly what we talked about before. Is the first movie stands on its own. And as I said, what I love about it is that it feels like a pirate movie that has a supernatural element dropped into it, but it almost doesn't even need it. And then, to me, what every movie after that feels like is, okay, the first one was super popular. Now we have to come up with a sequel. What do we do in the sequel? We blow up everything. Everything is bigger. Everything is more epic. Everything is crazier. And of course, we have way more supernatural elements now. You know? And that is where it starts in the second movie. It's taken to extremes in the third movie. And this is what I fucking hate about them. It's like, Davy Jones as a character is cool, and I love Bill Nye's performance as him. But the first movie had an undead pirate crew that looked like normal people most of the time. And now we're starting with a fucking CGI. Now we're starting with this insane pirate, like fishman people, whatever. He has the giant kraken, you know, and there's all these rules of how he got cursed and what he can do and what he can't do and how you join his crew and what you have to do. And this is where they start blowing up the world building. And I feel like the world building is just not good. And it's just unneeded, and it's just forced to me. It's very forced, you know.
I can see that.
That's why I fucking hate this movie and the next one. And it's like even the action scenes, they're cool in concept, but they're so goofy. The physics are completely off. It's like a lot of the Rings action scene compared to a Hobbit action scene. It's like, I can't believe it. And this is where, you know, the first movie, it feels so real to me. And then I watched the second movie, and it's just, you know, the way he escapes the cannibals is so fucking, nothing makes any sense in terms of actual physics. And it's goofy and stupid. The wheel as well, they would fall off this wheel in like 3 seconds, you know, but they keep fighting on it for 20 minutes because it's just so dumb. Everything is so stupid. I really, and this is my base problem with the second movie, and that's why I just can't enjoy it. I really can't.
What do you think of Cutler Beckett?
Not particularly interesting. I feel like the movie needed a villain on the army, like on the Navy side, and he is just the guy.
See, I love him. I think so. I can see how, you know, if you don't enjoy the sort of blowing up of the world and all that, I can see why these movies would bounce off of you. That's totally fair. I think that they do a lot of interesting things, and my problem with the fourth and fifth movie is that I feel like they've already exhausted the most interesting ideas, and they don't commit to anything new. So in the first three movies, it's the British Empire. Then in the fourth and fifth movie, it's actually a lot of the Spanish Empire. You know, you have they appear at the end to get the not the Holy Grail, the Fountain of Youth from Ponce de Leon. Mm-hmm. But no, actually, they just destroy it. And you have Salazar, Javier Bardem, and it's like in the fifth movie, and you go like, okay, well, that could have been an interesting angle for the fourth, fifth, and maybe sixth movie. Like the second trilogy, you do like the Spanish, and they're like much more Christian, whereas the British were much more just mercantilists, and you know, that's an interesting way of maybe separating it.
Yeah, but they don't really like take advantage of that. Like, no, it feels like
the Spanish are completely squandered.
Yeah.
And, in the fourth and fifth movies, the Spanish feel like a tertiary aspect of those films.
Yeah.
They feel like they were just kind of thrown in there rather than being like a more central part of those films.
Totally. But in movie 2 and 3, I think they really elaborate on the British Empire from the first movie. First of all, it's, okay, Cutler Beckett is here now because you let Jack Sparrow escape. You got, like, the conclusion to the first movie, here are the consequences for that. And, you know, Norrington, you gave him a head start when you let him escape. And that resulted in you having to chase him. And now because you had to chase him and because you were so committed to that, you lost your ship and your crew and your admiralty. And it's like, okay, here are the consequences for your happy ending in the first movie, and we're just gonna like, we're gonna force Will Turner, like, you're gonna have to go, you're gonna have to find Jack for us. And Cutler Beckett, what I love is this is like the broad theme of the second and third movie. If there is one, it's how the world is getting smaller. You see that visually represented in Cutler Beckett's office. They're like drawing in the map. Slowly, they're just filling up the map, and there's nothing left to be discovered. No more adventures or anything. And it's just sort of the death of this beautiful, adventurous world that's embodied by Jack Sparrow. And I think that is interesting enough that, you can, like, I think that is an interesting enough threat to carry the excitement in movie 2 and even 3, even though I have a lot of problems with it. But then, like, especially when you compare it to 4 and 5, like, this is still Hollywood cinema, blockbuster cinema at its best. And then the 4th and 5th movie, it's just nothing. How much time do you think it took for some moron? Like, for a fact, it was some idiot who sat down for 100 hours and came up with, what if it's Poseidon's trident and it can break the curses? You just like
all of them.
It breaks all the curses. And then we can get Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley back. And you're just, and like all the characters, like I hate, oh my God, the 5th movie, they introduce the characters and they're just telling you who they are in every single, it's awful. But,
I'm a horologist.
That's a funny joke. I'll you know what? I'll come up to bat for that joke. Just real brief. It's a funny joke delivered really shittily. But like the idea of I'm a horologist and they always misunderstand, on paper, that's funny. You just need it to have it actually be delivered funny, and they didn't do that. And also the girl who plays that actress, who plays that character, she's my favorite thing in the 5th movie, and she's beautiful, and I will not have her be slandered.
I agree. I think
she has a lot of, like, she should have been the main character of that movie. She is the best thing in that movie.
Moxie.
She has like,
moxie. She has spunk.
Yeah, she's got good energy in a movie, and then she's like paired up with this total just whacked mop.
It's fucking dweeb.
Anyway, back to the second movie.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of, I think they elaborate on sort of the bigger themes of the world getting smaller and all that. That's interesting. Blowing up the world building, like, again, the savages, like, it's kind of like that is kind of like in Return of the Jedi, how it's like you start the movie with this sort of other movie in the beginning. And it's actually the third one does that as well, because, Empire Strikes Back, Han Solo dies. Just kidding, we rescued him in the next one. And it's like, okay, Johnny Depp died. No, just kidding, we rescued him in the next. It's like, okay. But yeah, I don't know. I like all the world building in the second one. I think that, they do retread some of the jokes. It's like, the prostitutes slapping Jack and now they're slapping Will. It's like, that's kind of funny. So yeah. I don't know. I enjoy it. I think that like it also does this sequel thing of going darker, and I think it really pays off. Seeing Jack be like, he's scared for his life because he's been marked and the Kraken's going to come for him, and it's like, Jack Sparrow is now going to be like, am I going to betray my friends? And it's like he's going to try to escape at the end, but then he comes back, and it's like, okay, he kind of redeems himself, but then Elizabeth chains him to the boat, and it's like, it's just after you. Like, sorry, dude. And it's like, oh yeah, you betrayed me, but I'm a pirate. It's like, I think it perfectly elaborates on all of the rules and stylistic sensibilities established in the first one in really beautiful ways.
I don't necessarily disagree, and I'm trying not to just say, yeah, I don't like where they took this series. That's why I hate everything, And I have to say, from the last time I watched it, I did appreciate the second a bit more, because it does have some interesting moments, and I hated the third one way more than I did before.
I think the big problems with the second, third, and fourth and fifth is Jack Sparrow is not a main, like he is the supporting character. You cannot like the more they hang the movie on him, yes. I think it sort of works in the second one.
Yeah, this is a consistent issue with Jack Sparrow. Is in the first movie, he's kind of treated as just like some fucking weirdo. But as the movies have gone on, it felt like the movies bought his hype more and more.
Yeah.
And he becomes this figure that like people revere. And it's like, no, in the first movie, he was just some fucking like jackass that people were like annoyed by and surprised that like, wait a minute, did he actually do a thing?
Yeah, he was sometimes really competent, and everybody was surprised by it. Like, one of the funniest jokes in the first one is like, Jack Sparrow, never heard of you, you know? And then he's like, no, what was
you're the worst
joke?
pirate I've ever heard of.
Oh, you're the worst pirate I've ever heard of. Yeah, but you heard of me, you know?
And then he's like, but you've heard of me.
Yeah, that's like the best he can do right now.
Yeah.
and then they imply so much importance onto him in every movie after that. It's like, but he never does anything. I don't understand why anybody keeps following him. You know,
Yeah.
like after the first movie, sure, because he does lift the curse and basically comes out winning at the end. But then afterwards, what is he doing? Why do they follow him in the fifth movie where he has nothing and he just gets them into danger every single
Well, he needed
time?
the compass to find the Triton. And it's just like,
yeah, fuck
also,
off.
like, you know, how often is that compass traded around in the second movie? And then the whole fifth movie
True.
hinges on, he gave away the compass. We'll talk about it.
Oh, we will talk about it. Holy shit, dude.
But I also love, so even though they hang a lot of these movies on Johnny Depp and Jack Sparrow, I do like that whenever they go into his backstory in the second and third movie, they give hints to things. It's like when Cutler Beckett's talking about how, like, well, we used to work together and we both marked each other. And it's like, so in the lore, I don't know if you guys know this, in the lore, Cutler Beckett, I believe, had Jack Sparrow shipping slaves. And Jack Sparrow decided, I'm going to free the slaves. And that was his origin story.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the beginning of the rivalry there. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. But when it's Johnny Depp de-aged with a tiny mouth, getting all of his, like, he got the name Sparrow because he looked like a sparrow, and there he got his hat,
God.
and there it's like, here's your origin story of all your
That's so
things.
blockbuster,
the
dude.
Sparrow.
Yeah.
Sparrow. Javier Bardem, what a great actor, squandered in that movie.
Very squandered, but just to close the lid on movie 2 real quick, I definitely hear what you're saying, Bouken, about like, because I feel like, especially hearing you talk about the first movie, you valued the grit of that movie. You really appreciated the sense of place that it established and how it was, again, going back to what you said, it felt like a pirate movie that just so happened to have supernatural elements. And I think from that perspective, I get where you're coming from. But at least for me, I was nowhere near as emotionally invested in that first movie. So I was much more willing to see them get weird and silly in the second movie. And at least I think maybe you can at least appreciate from the perspective of if that first movie didn't exist and it was the second movie instead, you didn't have the first one to compare it to. I think a lot of what that second movie does on its own merits is well done. Like, yeah, you can make arguments about like, well, the action doesn't make sense. Like, I don't really think that's a big deal. I think it hurts you more because it compromises the grit of the first movie. But I think when you examine those scenes on their own and you appreciate it for like a different type of vibe that it was going for, I think those scenes are really fun. I think those scenes are still well acted. They're still well performed. And I think they're visually interesting to watch. Even if you want to argue that they don't make sense, I personally don't care. Like, I care more about it being like interesting to watch.
Okay, I agree with that. I will say it's not only the grit. What I said also about the first movie is that it has a super tight script, and I feel like this one doesn't as much. Like, the whole fucking cannibal thing, it's like it takes 40 minutes of the movie, and it has no purpose except to be like an adventurous sort of action thing at the end. But that entire thing you could just cut it out of the movie and nothing would change. It is just that Johnny Depp and Will Turner meet there at the end. They didn't accomplish anything, they just got together, But we have this entire fucking crazy elaborated action scene where they're trying to get away from the cannibals, and even the establishment of that beforehand. All of that shit can go, but it takes up so much screen time, That's where also I think the script fails.
Actual tribe that lived on the island where they filmed it. They just hired all the people who lived on the island to play the cannibals.
Okay, sure.
Does that not redeem? No.
No.
I mean,
no, but like,
to me, it was an excuse to have those stunts, and
that's what
that
it
was
feels like,
good
though.
enough.
That's an excuse, you know.
Yes, and for me, it's a good enough excuse because I was entertained by it. I'm not looking for these movies for like really tight like storytelling, right? I see these movies as buttery popcorn, and that's it. They're flavorful, but there's not substance. The first movie, I will grant, there is more meat on its bones.
Yeah,
there is more going on with the first movie.
Yeah, I'm not saying the first movie is deep or anything, but I'm saying it is really well crafted as a story.
Sure.
It is the tightest of the scripts. I think the second one, in its elaborations of character dynamics, and like I agree with like the cannibal stuff, that is kind of like a big ask to just like, okay, here's a half hour or whatever of this sort of unrelated story, and you could have handled it differently. It is kind of like, it feels like padding for the sake of adding to the runtime. And you're right, not much is accomplished. But then you get into like Will Turner. We're going to explore his character more by having him meet up with his father. And, we're going to like even Elizabeth's father. Like he has, he's removed from his position and he's just sort of emaciated and just weak, and he's still sort of trying to help his daughter. Like all of the character stuff, I think is so interesting. And the second one, the first one is the only standalone of all of these movies. But the second one, I think, really builds on top of it in all the correct ways. It's also like it switches to a more it's more character drama than it is sort of romp comedy like the first one.
I think it has its moment. Like after the cannibals, that's the big outlier. After that, I do like some of Will Turner's scenes, like the where they're playing the dice game.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, that's pretty fun.
His father comes in, and he like I really like how just rash he is to just get what he wants. He doesn't give a fuck about his own life,
And also,
he will just do what he wants. He loses the game just so he can see where.
Yeah. It's like I don't need to win. I just want to know where the key is. I'm gonna steal it. I don't care about magic.
That's a pretty cool move, and I felt like Elizabeth was sort of uninteresting in this movie until the end, where she handcuffs Johnny Depp to have him die. That's a really interesting move she pulled.
Yeah, that was a good moment for sure.
That is a great moment, I have to say.
But it's also, that's such a cool moment also. And these sorts of moments usually don't get me. Usually I just roll my eyes and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. But it's that moment where she's trying to pick up the rifle and goddamn it, Jack Sparrow came back. He came back with the milk chat. He's back, he was gonna try to escape, but no, he decided to do the right thing. You love to see it, don't you?
Yeah. He does in the first movie as well.
And I do really, speaking of like when she like handcuffed him, like I really love the moment where the Kraken comes and he has this moment where he just like not just accepts what's going to happen, but he's just like, hello, Beiste. And he's just like plunging his sword in the Kraken. I'm just like, that's fucking metal. That's like an awesome way to go out.
Yeah. I also, it's such a, like, obviously you had to free him from the chain in order to have that moment, but just give us that, like giving us those 10 seconds or whatever where he's like picking up the lamp and breaking it to like use the oil. It's like, this crafty guy, like just, you see this in Mouse Hunt too, and like the opening to that movie, like the credits, it's like the camera, it's just like traveling around in this factory and there's like balls of string being created, and it's like when they created the Iron Man armor, all of these sorts of kinetic things moving in interesting ways, and just that, like him reaching the lantern with the sword and like sliding it down the sword and then like smash it, like it's so interesting to watch. So Pirates 2.
I will say again, I hate these movies for what they are, but I guess I can agree that there's some good stuff in the second one.
Oh yeah. It's silly.
The third one, however.
So I think it'll be funny to drop this now since we're talking about the third movie.
Is your favorite one?
No.
Okay.
It's not. That's my tier list.
What? Okay. Then you just dropped something in our Discord.
I noticed there's some letters missing.
Yeah. Wow, I don't agree with this at all. Okay.
I don't. For those that are listening, I don't think any of the movies are past B tier. I think B is the highest tier.
That is ridiculous.
For these movies.
That is ridiculous.
None of them are A tier. None of them are S tier. It's just B tier and down.
This is preposterous.
Yeah.
So I think the first two movies are B tier.
What is an S tier movie in your opinion then? Let's litigate this before we talk the third movie. What is a good movie in your eyes?
Well, if it's S tier, it's not a good movie. It's like an immaculate movie.
Okay.
Oh, like the first one?
Like Seven Samurai is an S tier movie.
Yeah, but like a movie that people have seen, like the normies, the normies.
A movie that people have seen. You're saying no one's
classic
seen Seven
fucking
Samurai.
Movie. So here's the thing, Daniel. You didn't have a single criticism of the first movie. I understand if it's not super your jam, or if it's just like, it's a popcorn movie, whatever. But in terms of like, that would be the difference to me between an S tier movie and an A tier movie, where it's like technically flawless and enjoyable, but maybe it didn't scratch that itch to make it special for you. But then it's still an A at least. It's not a fucking B. Okay?
So I disagree.
Wow.
I don't place that much value on like the fact that like, oh, I didn't have anything to complain about. Like, I don't care. That's such a shitty way of engaging with
No, it's not.
What's wrong with you?
Because that means, if you look at it from the opposite side, it was just incredibly well done, and it didn't have any flaws.
If I really wanted to, I could find things to complain about with that movie. I just didn't care enough to even do that. If I actually genuinely, honestly gave a fuck about it, then it doesn't matter how much I love it, I would find something to complain about.
See, the thing is, Daniel, I thought you and I were on the same side.
Oh shit!
Against Bouken liking the second movie, but now I'm realizing that no, like I don't want to put my name on your shitty tier list. I don't want to have anything to do with this.
What? Okay, so for those listening, I have movies 1 and 2 in B tier. I have the third movie in C tier. I have the fifth movie in D tier, and I have the fourth movie in F tier.
That by itself is
fuck
like
that.
No, but we get to
it. So
you think the fifth movie is closer to the third movie than the fourth movie?
Yeah, he has 2 tiers missing, or like there's a tier gap between the fucking fifth movie and the fourth movie.
You know what? If I were to make this again, I think I would make more of a power gap between the third and the fifth movie.
Okay.
So it probably would be like
B, C, E, F.
an extra tier below, because the fourth and fifth movies are dramatically worse than the first 3.
Hey,
so I'll grant you that.
We'll all agree
I'll
there.
grant you that.
No, I don't agree.
How do you not have a single A tier in this franchise? This blows my mind. These movies
I guess he doesn't give a fuck.
I just don't like these movies that much. I don't know what to tell you.
I guess Daniel just doesn't understand these movies is the problem.
Oh yeah, it's because I'm dumb. I'm dumb.
See, I would say that even if you don't particularly care about them, you should recognize the craft,
I did. That's why I put them in B.
That's not B, dude. It's fucking B tier. If I play a fighting game and I pick a B tier character, I assume that character's trash.
We're not talking about fighting games.
I'm just saying, that's how I understand tier lists. B tier is like basically...
What normal functioning human being looks at, oh, it's B tier, it's trash? No, when I got a B in school, I was like, hey, I got a B. Not, oh man, they might as well just gave me an F. That's not how that works.
That's that American education system for you. Settling for a B. Daniel, tisk, tisk, tisk. Bouken and I, we got like 9s and 10s, right, bro?
You sound like one of those people that sent death threats to IGN because they gave Skyward Sword an 8 out of 10. That's you right now.
That's me right now.
It's not an 8 out of 10. It's a hate out of 10.
You're gonna get like anonymous emails bombarding you. Like, I just heard about this. It's like, the episode's not out, Acer. Jesus. Okay,
the third movie.
The third movie. It's pretty mid.
I think it's absolute trash, and it makes me angry. It's like
pretty,
so,
guys. It's pretty all right. I mean, come on.
It's really not. It's like this is where it goes way too over the top with A, the world building, and B, the supernatural crap. And this is like where the second movie not as much, I will admit, but in the third movie is where they introduce so much just crazy supernatural garbage that that
is true.
I cannot like it brings up so many questions. Every fucking minute of that movie, I'm like, why this? Why that? How did this happen? How is that connected? Like, I fucking hate when movies do this. And the fifth one is almost even worse. It's like I have to constantly ask myself questions about rules and motivations and like the logistics of a universe. And it takes me out of the fucking movie, and I hate it so much.
You don't have to do that.
My brain just goes there all the time. I don't choose it. My brain does.
I think that, see, I agree with you that this is where it's sort of like this one and the second one, they're sort of filmed back to back, made back to back. I'm not saying that means you have to excuse anything. Like, I think like Return of the King is kind of a messy movie. People do not want to acknowledge this. It's a messy movie, and I think it's because of the way they filmed those movies. This one is also, I think, really, really messy. But, and like, yeah, I agree that they do, like, the supernatural becomes a bit too crazy, the CGI becomes a bit too crazy. I don't mind that as a conclusion to this trilogy, and as, like, we're building from the second one. What I mind is in the fourth and fifth movie, they take this as the baseline for what a Pirates movie is.
See, I disagree with that as well, but we'll get to it.
Okay, well, I guess I'll have to be correct then, too.
But yeah, it's like, yeah, as you said, the supernatural stuff, and also the world building itself, where it's like suddenly, oh wait, there are pirate lords, and they have like armies. Cool. Like suddenly there's this giant fucking conflict between the pirates and the army, which really wasn't there in the second movie at all, you know. And suddenly it's here, and suddenly there's 9 pirate lords, and they have like this whole system of fucking rules. None of this was set up. And then it's like, again, Jack is implied to be super important because he's also one of the pirate lords. But then Barbossa is also one of the pirate lords, even though Barbossa was his first mate?
Yeah, it's like, okay, it should have just been Barbossa. Or neither one of them. It should have just
been Barbossa. But we have to make Johnny Depp super important.
I updated the tier list.
Screw your tier list. We're talking about them.
Yeah. No, this isn't.
But yeah, like I like the Pirate Lords. Again, you know, it is a lot of silliness brought into the world last minute to justify like this plot point. But I think the presentation is good enough. Like the hideout they have, the stronghold, it's a fortress, you know, it can stand for 10 years or whatever. Like, that's fun. All the Pirate Lords, like, they have, like, fun, different personalities, like Chow Fang and all that. Yeah. Like, that's super cool.
I think, yeah, the characters, they look cool. I think the production is still there. Like, the first scene where they infiltrate Chow Fang's hideout.
Oh, in Singapore.
Like,
yeah.
In Singapore.
Yeah,
it
that
is
was
like,
a good scene.
It is a good scene. It is well choreographed. It is like, you know, it's very sort of intense atmosphere because they're sneaking in and you're not quite sure what's going on. It is slowly revealed. All of that stuff. All of that is there, you know? And I will say even the scene, so there's the big scene where Johnny Depp died, or Jack Sparrow died, and they're bringing him back, right?
Yeah.
And I fucking hate all of this shit because you don't want resurrection in your movie universe, you know? You don't want death to not mean anything anymore.
They did
it was so funny, though. Yeah, they brought back Barbossa, but then were like, they even tried to plug in their own plot hole. They were like, well, what can't Calypso do the same for Sparrow?
Yeah.
And she's like, because he's super dead. He's lost, mate.
Okay, Daniel, I when you did the British accent, the Cockney accent, I was like, is he also going to do the Jamaican one? I'm happy that you did. I didn't think you would go there, but I'm happy you did.
Oh,
that's because I'm not a coward like you.
He was lost, body and soul. No, like, okay, my big problem with this movie is that with Singapore and with like the beginning, before like Jack Sparrow comes back at like minute 40 or whatever, they show in the beginning of this movie that they can make a completely coherent and engaging pirate movie without Jack Sparrow. Mm-hmm. And I think they should have committed to that. And if you want to really bring him back for future movies, do it at the end. To have it be like, oh, now that we defeated Davy Jones, like Jack Sparrow, he's back. And you know, maybe you don't need to explain it. Maybe he can just miraculously be back too, or something. Like, you can bullshit whatever you need to bring the character back, and you don't need to fill the hole again. Like, maybe it's better as a mystery. I think he is a massive detractor on every scene he's in here, and I think they should have kept him dead throughout all of it, or at least most of it.
I think so too, and I think they don't even they really don't have motivation to bring him back.
No, what does he do?
What does he do? What did he do? He was an asshole. He betrayed everybody. He was playing everybody. Barbossa has no reason to bring him back.
No,
like Keira Knightley, maybe she feels a bit guilty. Why does Will want to bring him back? There's no reason. Why does the crew want to bring him back?
He saw her kiss him, and he in the end of the last one, he was like, "Oh, what is this?" And now he's like, he's taking the cock roll of, I guess I'll bring my girlfriend's side piece back. It's like,
yeah,
what?
It's like, why? There's so much implied significance of Jack Sparrow, and he's just a dude. He's just a dude.
Wasn't the explanation that he was one of the pirate lords and they needed him for
that? But it's like...
Oh, so... great system, guys. One of us dies.
No,
we're pirates. We're fucking pirates. One of us dies, our entire society falls apart.
But also, Chow Fat dies, and Keira Knightley just takes over his slot. So... Yeah, so clearly, that's not a requirement. I think they needed, like, his piece of aid or whatever. It's just like the trash they had in their pocket at the time. That's a good joke.
That's a good joke.
Wait. We need to go back to that scene because that was stupid. Because
was it stupid?
Because he mistakes Keira Knightley for Calypso. I don't even understand.
Yes,
I don't even understand how that happened. But like, then he tries to force himself on her, and then something happens and he fucking dies, and in his dying words, he made her captain.
Well, he regretted it. He regretted putting himself on her. He's like, "Oh, your wrath, so great. Now you my captain."
Okay, but then the crew just believes her?
Yeah, the crew believes her, and then she goes to the other pirates and is like, "Hey, by the way, he made me captain."
Yeah, they just have to take her word for it?
Like, source, believe me, trust me, guys, he did. Yeah. And then they have this great democratic system where they just need 2 out of 8 votes to agree to make her not even captain, but also king of the pirates.
And also they all go along with it because Keith Richards threatens them.
Yeah.
There's
what is this? The fuck is happening?
He just gets upset and they're like, oh shit. I guess we gotta...
Okay, you know what? Actually... No, you know what? Okay, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with he just has so much aura that fine, we'll just do it. That's kind of cool. That's fun.
But he's just the rule keeper. How did they come up with these stupid ass rules? 2 people can overrule 8 other people? Or 7? But what the fuck?
Well, the idea is again that they keep voting for themselves. So it's just a matter of who has the most votes.
Yeah, because pirates would never collude.
Well, pirates are also stubborn and selfish.
No, fuck this.
Bouken, it's a pretty good movie. You have to admit that.
Fuck this so hard.
Nah.
And then, I don't know, man. I did so much dumb shit in this. I'm suffering.
I bet a scene. I thought it was it was fine or whatever. I thought it was a fun scene. I'm sure Bouken hates it. The scene where they get married.
That's good. Come on.
See, I knew Aesir would be like, oh, that's a fun scene. I feel like Bouken hates that scene because he's like, why the fuck are they fighting and kissing and getting married? What the fuck?
Okay, calm down, please.
Am I wrong?
That scene that scene didn't bother me as much.
Okay.
I thought it was kind of misplaced, but whatever. Like, at that point, I was so far off giving a shit, honestly.
I will admit, I think the pacing of this movie is so fucked up.
Yeah.
That, and I didn't do this for any of the other movies, but I got so bored watching the third movie in particular. I started like going through my phone. Like,
no.
Like, I don't know. Like, there was something about the third movie in particular. I think the middle portion of the movie sags so much. Like, I was begging for it to end at the midway point. I was like, we're still doing this. What the? Just end. Like,
I think.
Fuck.
I think it's interesting that, and this is like even outside of these movies, the more your movie is just spectacle, the more people are just going to be on their phone.
Yeah.
If you want people off their phone,
it's so
you
empty
have to
and nothing.
Yeah, if you want people to put the phone down, you have to have interesting characters. Like, you have to have an interesting story. You have to have, like, small or more, like, but, executive brain goes, no, we need even more explosions and more Iron Man for the people to keep watching.
Yeah, exactly. And it's this specifically the thing where they come up with so much garbage about the pirates and the curses and Calypso and everything. It's like none of it is really thought through, and you can't follow the rules. So there's no meaning to it. And there's no point in trying to keep track of it, because you're just gonna get frustrated, and then it becomes empty, And it's also like every fucking character just keeps betraying one another all the time. There's this one fucking sequence that is always in my head. It's like when they meet up on this tiny sandbank. And it's like Cutler Beckett next to Davy Jones. Next to Will Turner.
Wait, real quick though. I really love the detail that Davy Jones is standing in a bucket of water.
That's good.
That's good. That also means
really awesome.
He could have probably found a way to just go onto land if he can just put his leg into a fucking water bucket.
I don't think that. Like, I think like we're getting like into nitpick territory. Like, they could have filmed the scene on him just standing in the riverbank, but it's like, this is just a funny little thing.
Sure.
Yeah,
yes.
I think it was just meant to be a gag.
But so it's this sequence, right? It's Cutler Beckett, Davy Jones, and Will Turner, because Will Turner betrayed everybody else. And then it's on the other side, it's Barbossa, Keira Knightley, and Johnny Depp. And it's like you just look at that shot out of context, like or coming from the first movie, and it's like, how did these characters end up on these sides? What the fuck is going on? Like, why is that guy working with that guy? Why are these together? And then the scene goes on, and people say some shit, and then like they just trade Johnny Depp for Will Turner, and then they keep threatening each other, and then they leave, and nothing was accomplished. And it's like they betrayed each other so often at that point that it's like, what is even anybody's motivation anymore except for beat the other guy? And it's like, Will has betrayed you, but now we're going to switch him out for Johnny Depp, and now we're cool again.
Yeah.
It blows my mind how you can write something like that. It doesn't make any sense.
What do you think about I'm gonna ignore the point you just made.
I know I'm rambling.
What do you think about?
I didn't even care enough. I didn't even care enough to follow
the story
at that point to even like pick up on that, because I was so tapped out.
Yeah,
what do you think about the map, the circle map? They have to rotate the spheres. I think that's a cool map.
Isn't it in the fourth movie?
No, it's in this one. He steals it from Xiao Fang.
It's in the third one.
But they also use it to find the... They bring it back.
Yeah. Right.
Wait, that reminds me. So that's tied to a scene where they're like, "Oh, up is down," and then Johnny Depp is like running back and forth through the boat, and he convinces the entire fucking crew to do it. And I was just like, "So what? They're all just agreeing to just like rock the boat on like a fucking hunch that this is what they're supposed to do, and just drown themselves."
Yeah.
That's how you get out of the
everybody loves
bro.
Johnny Depp, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I know that's how you get out of the afterlife, but like, it just seems so fucking ridiculous to me that they all just like agreed to it. And they're like, well, maybe he's right, and then the game just bleh, it happened. I was just like, what the fuck?
To be fair, Johnny Depp's crew just goes along with whatever he says.
Yeah.
Even if they're complaining about it, they're just such dumbasses.
But even Barbosa's like, he has the right of it. I'm like, how do you know?
You know what's a great scene? We skipped over it in the second movie on the cannibal island. It's when they're like in the balls and they're like, "Oh, all of us have to get to the boat." "Oh, not really. You'd only need 8 guys. That should be enough." And then they're all like, God damn it! Now we gotta be in competition. You did because we're pirates. We're gonna betray each other.
Yeah, you could have just the first group could have just pulled up the other group.
Yeah, there's no reason for you to betray each other. There's no reason.
One great shot though is when Barbosa's like standing on the table with like the chain and balls, and like, and Johnny Depp is like staring at the balls between his legs.
Whose boons? Your boons? Something I don't like is Calypso. I think that is a plot point added solely for the sake of spectacle. I think it would be, and again, you know, we like the understated presentation of the mysteries and the magics. I like the scene where Davy Jones comes and visits her in prison, and suddenly he's human again. I like that scene.
That's a good scene.
I don't like she turns into a crab, army, and now it's a bunch of now it's a whirlpool, and they're like, I think you took it way too far there. I think there's a way of doing it where you just hint at the magical. That's why I love the Barbosa resurrection. We don't need to know how. You don't need to go into it.
So 2/3 of the movie are about freeing Calypso so they can defeat Davy Jones.
This is true.
They eventually do it. What the fuck did it accomplish to free her? She turns into a giant, then she turns into crabs, and then she's gone from the movie, and then they have to fight him anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, and also
I had the same thought, right? Like,
also they defeat him with the heart.
Spent on her.
They defeat him with the heart.
Yeah.
Nothing, like, she was inconsequential.
She was completely pointless.
And like, I'm sure if we rewatched it with like a microscope, we'd be like, "Oh, here's a line where they justify it." But it's like, you know, it gets to the point of I don't really care about the justification. I'm just looking at the movie, and yes, you maybe have a flimsy rationale for it. That's not why this scene is here. This scene is here because they wanted to do spectacle.
Yeah, because the reality of the situation is, regardless of like what line we might have missed, the reality is they spent so much of the movie justifying her existence and making the movie about her, only for her to exit the movie prematurely and then not have any effect on anything else after that. So it was like, what the fuck was the point?
Yeah.
Why even have her character in the third movie? Like, she could have just been a weirdo in the second movie that they like, oh, she's a witch doctor or whatever the fuck, voodoo doctor, and she brings back Barbosa, or, you know, they get their guidance from her or whatever, and then she's not in the third movie, and I don't see how much more different the third movie would have been.
And I don't know how I'm supposed to turn off my brain to the extent where it's like this entire the first 2/3 of the movie were just about nothing, apparently.
The more we talk about the third movie, the more I dislike it.
Okay.
It's terrible. And the spectacle that they have is like just this stupid CGI fest where none of it matters. It's like a fucking Avengers movie. The last 40 minutes are delegated to CGI spectacle, and at some point somebody dies. I don't know. Who gives a shit?
I guess now's the point where we need to talk about the good stuff. Okay, so you guys want to start? I guess I'll start. You're
gonna force me? You're gonna force me to say good things?
I really like the sequence at the end. So again, when it comes to the character dynamics, I think for them, I think this is this is the weakest of the original trilogy. Nobody here is going to debate that. Probably it has the weakest, like, the first one doesn't have a lot of deep character stuff, but when it does, like, deep character stuff, like Will Turner's, like, getting a bit mad at Elizabeth over the coin, like that it always lands. This one does not always land, but when it lands, it's really good. I really like that sequence at the end, for example, when Davy Jones is looking at Will Turner and Elizabeth, and he's like, "Oh, you two are in love, aren't you?" And then he's like kind of mocking them because like he's been hurt by love. And then he has that conversation with Jack, and then he just kills Will. And it's just like, oh, he is that cruel. Like, he is really that far gone. Like, that sort of stuff, I think this movie does really, really well. Like, again, even though Norrington is criminally just sort of written out of the movie, that turn of him, I did all of this to reach this station again, and now he throws it all away for Elizabeth. And it's like, oh, maybe in another life, we could have, made something of this. Like, I think, like, there is a lot of stuff like that. I like what they do with Will's dad in this one, Stellan Skarsgård. Again, I think there are certain threats that I think are on par with what we saw in the second movie. There's just a lot of CGI trash you have to get through to see that. Whereas, again, I put this above the fourth and fifth one because those movies are just the CGI slop. There is no character stuff. They're not funny. They're not entertaining. There's no rhythm or energy. All of, like, Johnny Depp is so tired by the point, like, and they're so poorly written. Like, this one, you can still, like, see the love of the craft of filmmaking in this one. You can't see that moving forwards. And therefore, I think it should get at least an 8.5 out of 10. What do you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like Skyward Sword.
Just like Skyward Sword.
I will, if I have to say one good thing about this movie, I do, aside from the fact that I hate the resurrection stuff and all that, in terms of what it implies to the universe, but I do like the sequence. It is creative and it is weird.
Yeah.
And it is kind of funny.
I like the sequence. I like the sequence where they meet Elizabeth's dad, and they're like, "Oh, we're back," and they're like, "No, we're not back." And he's like,
"Of course, it always raises the question, like, why can't they rescue Johnny Depp but nobody else? Apparently."
Yeah, but like, I like his demeanor there, where he's like, he seems a bit confused. Like, it's like he knows he's dead, but he also doesn't. He's like, "I'll say hello to your mother." And he's like, there's no sorrow in his eyes. He's like kind of joyful about meeting Elizabeth again before he rides off into the afterlife. It's like, it's a really beautiful sort of presentation of death. It's really cool.
Sure, yeah.
No, I agree. I think I can't. There's not a lot about this movie I liked, to be honest. But I mean, Davy Jones is still great. Like,
see, I disagree even with that, honestly, because he barely has any lines. He doesn't do anything in the movie. Just at the end, he comes and fights everybody.
He's sidelined by Cutler Beckett. Like, Cutler Beckett is the real villain here.
Yeah, and Davy Jones really doesn't do much, and he doesn't have any lines. I was waiting for a cool Bill Nighy performance again, and it didn't come.
Easily. What did you say? So easily given, so easily snuffed out. And Jack is like, or he says something, and Jack's like, "That's a matter of perspective." And then David Jones is like, "Is it?" And then he just kills Will. I don't remember how that sequence goes, but I remember liking it.
Also, I apologize, Daniel, for cutting you off.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, sure, he was better in the second movie, but I'm trying to come up with good things to say about this third one. And I mean, Davy, like, we don't get as much of him, but I'd still say what we did get of him. I mean, he's still, the actor's still putting his all. He's still, like, putting on a good performance. And, yeah, I don't know. This third movie's mid.
Wow.
All right. Do we want to talk?
Okay.
Do we want to talk about like the actual dregs now? Like the real.
Yeah. See, this is the fun part of the conversation, because so much energy I feel like has been wasted. Maybe fairly unfairly talking about the third movie. There is nothing to the second, like the fourth and fifth ones.
So okay, here's where I will drop my nuclear take.
Oh God, here we go.
The fourth movie is my second favorite one.
No! What? No!
Yeah.
I am... What? What?
You didn't see this coming? I was like hinting at it the entire time.
The fourth movie fucking sucks, dude.
No. So okay, here's the thing. I think it's pretty easily explainable. Because as I said before, I do love the grit, and I do love the more self-contained stories, and I do hate that they blew up the scale and the craziness and everything. And the fourth one goes back. It scales things down. It does have less crazy nonsense.
Yeah, just like crazy mermaids and zombie pirates he controls with his magic sword to get the Fountain of Youth. Yeah, man, it's so scaled back.
Wait, the crew of Blackbeard doesn't have... Are they zombies?
They're zombies.
Yeah. There's a literal...
And
There's a literal line where one of the pirates or the people on the ship is like, "Oh, they're zombified."
And he has a magic sword that he uses to move the roads.
Yeah, it's a magic sword, and it is mermaids. But that's kind of about it. And I will not say that it is a great movie. I'm not even sure if it is a good movie. It's kind of a mid movie, sure.
It's definitely not a good movie.
But in terms of just bringing it back and like making me understand character motivations and what people are trying to accomplish, it is way more sane than the third movie for sure, and the second movie maybe. So, because I understand what they want. I understand how the fountain works. I understand how they're going to get there, and I understand the items they need to do what they need to do. And along the way, sure, they have the mermaids, but the mermaids it just turns into a girl. I kind of like the thing between the mermaid and the priest, honestly.
Ugh.
I like how they get the tear out of her. And I wasn't even sure, like they trick the mermaid, and I wasn't even sure if the priest was in on it. And if he said he wasn't. He said he wasn't, but he might have been lying, and then felt guilty and freed her afterwards, which I think is a decent character thing to write. And I understand what is her name, Penelope Cruz wants. I understand what Blackbeard wants, and
what a god awful freaking performance by good actor Ian McShane. What a trash performance. Just no aura whatsoever for like the most iconic pirate in human history. Get out of here.
I'm waiting on Daniel's reaction.
I have never felt so little for any movie in my life. I felt absolutely nothing. I didn't like or dislike this movie enough for it to elicit any sort of emotion. This movie like passed through me, which is why I rank it so low, because at least the third movie we can bitch about it. That elicited an emotion. This elicited nothing. This movie is hollow. This movie doesn't do or say anything. This is the most meaningless fucking movie I've ever seen in my life, and that makes it worse than a bad movie.
Okay, sure. If you feel that way, I can't really change it. And I don't really want to super go into defense mode on this movie as well, because I
feel like you've set yourself up for that.
Yeah, because I do like it more than the second and the third. I mean, the fifth is like, whatever.
I will say, I kind of like the opening where he's like talking to the king, Uncle Vernon. Like, that's a fun performance.
That's a fun performance, yeah.
It's a fun performance.
And then it turns into dumb action schlock again, unfortunately. But I think Penelope Cruz's character is decent. I do like actually the fight between him and her dressed up as him.
You've stolen me.
It was kind of reminiscent of the fight between him and Will Turner in the first one.
Oh, but it is so much worse.
I don't know.
The first, like in the first movie, like the cinematography, the choreography, it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
this is like, you bought the Temu version of that fight, maybe.
But at least it's not them, fighting while two ships circle each other in a like giant drain in the ocean.
I guess. I mean, Barbossa and Jack kind of have a fight in like a ship that's tilting.
And that sequence I liked, honestly.
Okay. You know what? I agree. That is a cool sequence. I retract the complaint.
It is super simple, but it is like, we have to be wary of where we move. But we're trying to reach something. And then there's this really cool shot where they both just fall onto the bed and just sit next to each other and look kind of like, oh God, what are we doing here? And then they come to their senses and start working together. It's a decent character moment, honestly.
The movie, it's so ugly. It's so just visually looks like trash. Like everything's filmed on green screen, unless it's Barbossa in the Caribbean. The rest of the movie's just filmed in somebody's basement.
Sure, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying I like that the scale was just going back. I like that this is just a little adventure.
I can't even disagree there. I just feel like the story is so nothing.
Yeah, I appreciate
it's so inconsequential.
Yeah, that's the thing where I appreciate the scale going back, but I can see how for other people that just makes it boring.
It's missing a good straight man.
The first movie's not boring though. The first movie is still like a fun, like well constructed, tight movie. This fourth movie, like it just felt like it was going through the motions. Like it literally felt like it was simply a checklist of like, well, what do people want and expect from a Pirates of the Caribbean movie? Okay, well, they want Jack Sparrow. Check. Okay, they need him to act kind of silly. All right, check. Okay, we need some action sequence with him that's like slapsticky and him being kind of silly. All right, check. That's the whole fucking movie. It's just them. It's a fucking checklist of them like trying to give people what they think they want instead of making something with passion, instead of making something that actually tries to do or say something. It's just slop. It's fucking nothing. And that sequence with the romance or whatever with the priest and the mermaid felt utterly nothing. So pointless. Like that was like the most like shitty romance I've seen in a minute. I was just like, there's like nothing to this. It's this fucking priest all of a sudden is like, damn, this mermaid's giving me a boner. And that's it. That's their whole romance. There's nothing else to it. It's so shallow.
Hey, she was trying to save him, okay? She was not like the other mermaids.
She's not like other mermaids. She's not like other mermaids. She had actual legs.
No, she was trying to save him. He realizes that. Yeah.
Yes, I know that. I know that. Whatever. See, like their romance was just so nothing. It was so shallow.
I'm looking at all of the distinct pieces of this movie, and I think that you could, like, if you rewrote it with all of the same elements, this could have been a good movie. I just think this is like, if you take the original Pirates of the Caribbean, if it had a garbage script and no, like a director who was, like, Gore Verbinski, very visually interesting director, like, if you just took Pirates of the Caribbean 1 and removed all the sauce, this is what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think the first movie, even without all the sauce, I like that more than the second and third and fifth.
Oh, this guy.
And I'm not saying it's a great movie. I'm not even saying it's a good movie. And I think especially in the end, it just completely falls apart. Because then they try to go a bit more epic and have like the multiple armies meet up in the fountain room.
I will say one thing, and I don't even think this is like a particularly great thing, but it was something I was like, oh, that's at least kind of interesting, where the Spaniards were like, no, this is like, this is evil, we're just, because normally you would think like, oh,
it's an affront to God.
Yeah, like normally you think like, oh, they're trying to get it for selfish reasons. They're trying to get the Fountain of Youth for themselves, but they were like, no, this is an affront to God, and they try to destroy the chalices. I was like, that's at least kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But we already went over this earlier, where the Spaniards are super underutilized. They feel like an extremely like just tacked on element of the fourth and fifth movies. Yeah. So I felt like that's something that they could have like built towards in a more meaningful way.
Oh yeah.
Instead, it's just kind of like it just kind of came up at the end, and I guess that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. No, I can totally see how you build on that in a better script, where it's like, okay, you have actually this. Maybe you give some scenes to the Spanish army, and you have characters in there. And they're sort of debating, like, oh, but the fountain could be really useful, but no. Then some other characters super zealous about it.
Maybe you have Javier Bardem as a character in this one, as like the Norrington equivalent. And like you build up to what you want to do in the next movie instead of having to pick up the pieces every single time. If you're gonna, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that at least would have led into like the fifth movie better, but
they didn't plan on that.
Yeah.
Like these movies are like what 6 years apart, I think. The fourth and the fifth.
Something like that.
It's almost 10 years since the last one. Think about that.
Hmm.
Yeah, movie 5 came out in 2017.
That's crazy.
But then,
I also I think I said this earlier, but I really like the idea of you have the British Empire, and like we know how they operate in this world, but then you get the Spanish Empire, and like they're different. These guys are not you're not bribing them. They actually like fully believe in the things they're doing, and the thing they're doing is just we're going to genocide the pirates. We have absolutely no tolerance for these barbarians, these monsters. We're going to kill all of them. And you're like, well, most of the pirates probably kind of deserve that. So it's kind of like you could do the interesting interplay of the good pirates and the good people in the Spanish Empire. Like you could repeat that, but have them be different, like functionally different from how you presented the British in the first movies. It was like, no, we're just not interested in doing that. I guess.
You could, and it would even be you could turn it into a more interesting script if you have three parties: the Spanish, the British, and the pirates, and they are fighting against each other while trying to get to the fountain, and instead the Spanish are just a plot device, basically.
Yes.
Also, Johnny Depp phoned in this performance in this fourth movie so fucking bad.
Not as bad as in the fifth one.
The fifth one is worse.
I guess. He's pretty bad in the fifth one too, but like, I don't know. I was more offended by it, I guess, in the fourth movie. I guess because everything in this movie was so nothing, and like, it really hit me like right away. I was just like, oh, this feels bad. But I think we'll put a cap on the fourth movie.
It's just the one thing I wanted to complain about is that, I mean, as I said,
okay,
the Spanish are just a plot device, and it's like so obvious in the end where they want to have the big battle, but at the same time they want to have it. They want to have the big battle, but they also want to have the sort of low-key, Blackbeard and his daughter both are dying, and, one of them can have the chalice, the other can't, and survive. And it's like, so the way this is accomplished in the script is just the Spanish destroy the fountain, and then they just fuck off. And Barbossa defeats Blackbeard, and then just takes his crew and fucks off. It's like within
Jack
2 seconds.
The cups.
Yeah, but within 2 seconds, the entire room is just cleared of everybody. Everybody just decides to go home, so they can have this little moment between the three main characters. And it's just like, you're still enemies. You're still supposed to fight each other and kill each other, but everybody just turns around. It's like, oh, job here's done. Bye bye. It's really, really bad.
All right, guys. It's time to talk about the fifth movie.
Is it?
Yeah. Is it the fifth? Is it the fifth movie? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking if it's time. Like, what is there to talk about with this movie?
What is there to talk
there's
about?
a lot to talk about. If you want to complain about stuff.
My favorite thing.
I liked this one a smidge more than movie 4, but this is like a hair difference. Like it's not even really like worth mentioning.
Like I feel like there's none of these movies where I can talk to both of you without either one of you being crazy about it. Like
how am I being crazy?
With the first movie, Daniel is like Bouken correctly estimates the quality of that movie. Daniel is like, yeah, it's a B. It's like, oh, great. With the second movie, I'm like, yeah, this is actually on par with the first movie. And then Bouken's like, I don't really like that much. And I have to like come to bat for the third movie. And, Bouken, he has his crazy reasons for kind of liking the fourth one.
Okay, hold on a second.
When
I put the first movie in B tier, I'm not saying it's objectively speaking a B tier movie. I'm just saying me personally.
Yeah, you personally. Oh, I got a notification. Sorry.
you personally
are a crazy person.
You personally chose to start your fucking tier list at B tier.
It's also just like, with this one, you like it a smidge more.
I think that annoys you more than anything else.
At least the fourth movie scaled things back. This one does jack shit for bringing back the characters, but it's also just slop. Like, this is worse. It's the worst of all of them. How can you like this more than...
I don't like it. I don't like it. It's a bad movie.
I'm so with you, Acer.
Because at least it made me feel something, as opposed to the fourth one, where I was just like, this movie is nothing. At least the fifth one...
I felt a lot of things watching this movie. And none of them were good. None of them were good.
No, I agree. None of it was good, but at least I felt something.
Yeah,
I was more mad at the fourth one for not making me feel anything. At least the fifth one, I was just like, man, this movie is fucking
you enjoyed getting mad?
Because at least I felt something.
This is ridiculous.
That makes it a worse movie then, not a better one. That is stupid. That is a legitimately stupid reason to rank this above.
No. I would rather something made me feel negative than made me feel nothing.
Okay, so the worst movie in the world is like, what, better than some competent mid-movie? Is that what you're telling me right now?
We're not talking like objectively speaking. I'm just saying for me
you
personally.
If you had to rank things, you would rank things that you absolutely hated higher than some competent movie that wasn't that interesting.
Sure.
Okay. I'm glad we have this on tape.
So you're like a big fan.
Why is that?
You're like a big
why
fan.
Is that such?
Daniel, you're a big fan of the scene where he gets the hat with the tiny CGI mouth. He gets the hat. He gets the backstory. It's all given to him in that flashback. You like that scene?
That flashback was garbage. That flashback was terrible.
But hey, at least it's so terrible that you put this movie above the fourth one.
I like how Acer's coming to the defense
at least I can bitch about
the fourth one now. This is great.
I don't want to defend the fourth one.
We've gone so far that Acer is now trying to defend the fourth one.
Why is my take so offensive to you? That I just want to feel something. Why is that so bad?
Because you're like neglecting competence because you got angry at something else.
I wouldn't even say competence.
I don't give a what? I'm neglecting competence? Who cares? Who cares if something is competent if it's hollow? Who cares about something? Why?
Like, I understand it's more interesting to talk about it. If something is like super weird and then fails. I mean, I love bad movies because of that reason.
Look at Tommy Wiseau's The Room. Like, that is a fascinating movie to talk about. Extremely incompetent.
Yeah.
But I'd much rather talk about The Room than some fucking 5 out of 10 shit that like is Hollywood like farted out.
But that's not the ranking is.
Exactly. We're talking about rankings.
Are you going to tell me The Room gets a higher ranking than Pirates of the Caribbean 4?
Yes.
Okay, see, now I have to go to a Daniel side because I probably also gave the room a higher rating.
You don't have to.
Okay.
I just need both of you to not be insane for the discussion of at least one of these movies.
Okay. All right. Let me break it down to you like this. There's a very big difference between my standards and what I'm personally looking for. If I were to judge things based on like my standards, then it would be different because my standards dictate. Okay, obviously, the fifth movie is a technically constructed like worse movie than the fourth one. The fourth one is more competent than the fifth movie. I'm not arguing that. So if I were to rank it based on that, the fourth one is clearly the superior film to the fifth one. Again, it just comes down to the fact that the fourth movie was just so hollow to me. Like I got like nothing out of it. That as an experience, I got like for me it was worse because I got so little out of it. The fifth movie, yeah, it's a worse movie. It's a poorly constructed movie, but like it was also like inconsistent in quality. There were some parts of the fifth movie where I was like, oh, okay, that was at least kind of interesting, and other parts of the movie was like, wow, this is really bad. While the fourth movie to me was just like this consistent nothing.
Okay,
so
I guess
there's at least something for me to hold on to in the fifth movie as opposed to the fourth movie. Does that make sense?
Okay, well, maybe to a crazy person.
To a crazy.
I think
nothing I'm saying should be crazy.
I think that, like, I follow the logic. I just disagree with it. I think we should talk about the movie.
So wait, I want to also say my piece here because when it comes to rankings of movies, right? And this is why I would say the Room is a good movie in terms of just entertaining me. Like to me, a ranking is like parts of how much did I like it, how much did it entertain me, and how much do I actually like the filmmaking, or like certain technical production aspects, whatever. And that together makes to me like a score or ranking. And I think the fourth movie is technically more competent, and it didn't, like, even if you hated it, if it gave nothing to you, you didn't actively hate it in that regard, But the fifth movie is technically incompetent and poorly written, and it annoyed the shit out of me. And that is not something positive. Like, it made me feel a lot of things, but none of those were positive. Whereas The Room, for example, that's a movie that is absolutely incompetent, but it made me feel a lot of enjoyment, Like, what I gave fucking Neil Breen's Fateful Findings. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I made somebody else watch it, and that person told me, I will never forgive you for this. But to me, that is a 5 out of...
fair reaction.
To me, that is a 5 out of 5 movie, because I've never laughed so hard, and I've never seen something like that before.
Okay, but we're talking about movies that are both in F tier right here. Like, I don't think the fourth or fifth Pirates movie is like so bad it's good. I don't think I don't get any enjoy. Like, I get getting enjoyment value in like, okay, it's a bad movie, but you watch it and you're like, you can be enthralled by the misadventures in movie making. Like, I kind of get that. I don't get how...
I'm just saying, again, it's entertainment value and competence. So, like, filmmaking. And I got some entertainment out of the fourth one. And I think it's a way more competent than the fifth one. So I would always rank it higher.
Okay.
I think it's crazy to say the fifth one made you feel anger, and that's why it's better. I think that's just stupid.
Yeah, see, I think the fifth one is more of a nothing movie.
I'm not saying the fifth movie is a better movie than the fourth one. I'm saying I got more out of the fifth movie.
Okay, I'd like to investigate here because I got nothing out of this movie. What did you get out of it? Like positive or negative? Like, because like I said, this to me is the nothing movie of these movies. Like the fourth one at least has that opening. I guess they were trying some new things. This feels so tired, and like Johnny Depp, he's being fed lines through an earpiece that's hidden under his wig, and every single line of dialogue he says is completely wrong. Like the delivery is terrible on everything he says because he's not there. It's just like, help me out here, Daniel, please.
Okay. All right. So first off, even though like you could argue like, well, the writing is bad, and yeah, I don't disagree with that, but like at least Javier Bardem, he did not phone it in. And I think
I do like his performance. I love him him as an actor, I have to say.
I love him as an actor. And even though he wasn't given great material, but he didn't phone it in. He still like put in 110%. And whenever he's on screen, I'm like, yeah, this guy fucking rules. And I like the design that they went with. Like the fact that his hair always looks like he's like underwater. I think that's a pretty cool idea, like visually speaking. And I think his crew is visually interesting to look at.
Don't you think he's kind of, different performances hit different people differently. Of course, there's no wrong way to interpret and enjoy a movie. I really feel like this is a horrible performance by him. And I don't think it's on him. I think he probably is wearing like a terrible mocap suit in some green room, and he's probably not in an actual, like he's probably not with Jeffrey Rush or Johnny Depp in any of those sequences. And I imagine they just told him, no, go weirder, go bigger, go weirder. And I think he's kind of like a cartoon character. Like he does this thing which you often see when like actors just go for it, where all of a sudden he invents new ways to pronounce words and like put an emphasis here where nobody's ever emphasized a word before.
Yeah. He did say sparrow differently multiple times.
It's like, okay. I get
he says it's sparrow.
Yes, it's like I get the accent, but also I've watched Vicky Cristina Barcelona. I've watched a lot of movies with Javier Bardem, like where he even speaks Spanish, and that's not the Spanish accent. That's something else he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know what accent he was going for.
Okay.
I don't know what he was going for. I mean, yeah, I get. Yeah, he is a Spanish actor, so I guess it was a Spanish accent. But yeah, I don't know. Sure, yeah, he said sparrow 3 different ways. Whatever. My point though is that he's still a great actor, and I love seeing him on screen. And yeah, his material was not good, but he still has a presence. He still has a presence.
I guess.
I think his character design is. I think it is inspired.
In the flashback, I think he had presence. When he's just a regular guy wearing the naval uniform, like head tilted up a bit like Mussolini, I thought that was presence.
Sure. I don't disagree. And you were mentioning it before, the other character who turned out to be Barbossa's daughter, which that plot point sucks dick, but her character was like arguably one of the or if not the best part of the movie, because the actress is
incredibly
killing
charismatic.
It. She's doing a great job. Unfortunately, she gets saddled with a sack of potatoes, but she does a really good job. She's also cute as a button.
Why is Orlando Bloom handsome man and Keira Knightley handsome woman? Okay, so you take Orlando Bloom's powerful handsome semen and you mix it with Keira Knightley's equally handsome semen. How come you get this guy? Like, why? I feel like their son. Why is their son such a loser? Why is their son not like a bit more adventurous and like oh yeah, I like. Why is Jack Sparrow not kind of tired? And he's the sort of proactive, adventurous one. Like, why is he, like, it's the same as with the priest. Why are we surrounding Jack Sparrow with these characters who have no agency and just no, like, I guess he has agency for the things he does, but it's like, there's nothing there. They don't have any energy or presence.
No.
And I find that so annoying.
No, yeah, he was a pretty nothing character. I agree with that.
Yeah.
He kind of sucked.
And it's also like just his whole character as a concept. It's like his whole goal is to free his father. And it's like, didn't you grow up without your father? He was never there.
Also,
but he cares so much though.
Why?
I also feel like the point at the end of the third movie where he like goes off and is like, well, every 10 years we get to see each other.
Every 100? No,
it's every 10 years he gets to come on shore.
Okay.
But it's like I think it's like 99 years you serve, but every 10 years he gets to walk on land. It's like that's a really mythological, beautiful, romantic thing. And now they reframe it as like, oh no, it's a terrible curse that he must be freed from. It's like, no, they like played the romantic music, and it's like their romance is now one of like longing for each other over like destiny and the sea, and like now you're just gonna change your mind on that with this inferior movie? Like, no, you don't get to do that.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
I also feel like
because Orlando Bloom accepted this for himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, can we talk about the fact that Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley, Orlando Bloom showed up at the beginning, and then at the very end, and Keira Knightley also showed up at the very end. Those motherfuckers just like collected a paycheck just to pop in and say hi.
That is not true though. Because Keira Knightley, she was there, I believe she was there for like a few weeks, and she was really happy to be back working with it. She gave interviews about how like excited she is, and how like, yeah, like I didn't get to do as much as I wanted to, but I'm really excited to be back in this universe. Like, she was so excited about coming back. And like, I'm sure she filmed more scenes probably like with the sun at the beginning that were cut out or whatever. But, like she from interviews, I recall her having like a lot more like love for this. But you know, maybe she was pretending. Maybe that was part of the marketing, and she tricked me. But
I mean, sure.
No, I doubt that. It sounds like they did have more scenes with her, and they just decided to cut them out. That seems more likely.
But and then she just is there at the end. It's like I didn't even remember that she comes back. And so she just stumbles into the frame, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess the check cleared or something. You know, that's the impression you have to get when you watch that.
Also, like, I wonder if you're gonna reframe it as we have to free will, why is she not a main character in the movie? Why would you not bring her back?
Yeah, good question.
And like, again, you just have like you can then even have the son too. And you can also have Barbossa's daughter. And it's like, you know, hey, what's wrong with bringing her in?
Why don't you cut all of that shit and you just have Elizabeth Swann spend, like, I don't know, 10 years looking up how to free him. And now she has the plan, and now she needs Johnny Depp's help. And
hey,
cut out all the other fucking characters.
No, they need the Trident of Poseidon, which also... It's a terrible MacGuffin. It sounds bad to say. The Trident of Poseidon. It doesn't roll off the tongue.
And it's just like,
it's so convenient. It's so convenient that you just need to break it so that it breaks every curse ever. It's like, come on,
dude, don't get me fucking started.
Why didn't we do that in the previous movies, bro?
Why? Why any of this? How? Like this entire script is so fucking bad. It's like we have this island that reflects the stars, and it has these like red gems, and we need to put in the last gem to open up the passage, split the sea to open up the passage to reach like the Trident of Poseidon. And it's like, okay, Barbossa had the gem that opens up this thing, but it's on an island that nobody can reach because nobody can read the map. Except he had the gem and he knew how it worked, and he gave it to his daughter.
And now he didn't try getting it back?
When he was cursed in the first movie, did he not try?
Yeah, did he forget?
Did he not try to track her down? Does he understand how this works or not? And if not, then how did he get the fucking gem in the first place?
He just forgot about it, bro.
He totally forgot.
It drives me insane.
Yeah, that was stupid.
We talked earlier about Jack Sparrow has betrayed the compass, and you watch this and you're like, did you not watch the last movie? Did you not watch any of these movies when you wrote the script?
Yeah.
Like, how did
was this thing? What was this thing about betraying the compass? Like, what? Like, I always thought the compass was just like this magical thing they just happened to have. There was no real explanation. It was given to him
by Teodolma, by Calypso. Like, they heavily...
Oh,
she says it. Do you still have that compass I gave you? And he's like,
true.
but now it's this other guy. Actually, you're just like, how can you, like, did nobody go over the script?
They retconned it for no reason.
You have, like, this is a $300 million movie. You don't have one person in charge of quality control?
Yeah,
are you kidding me?
But it's like, even if
that makes way less sense, because Calypso, it makes sense for him to get the compass from her because she's some like voodoo, whatever lady.
Do the accent again, I dare you. You won't. Sorry.
You take him hot.
Oh.
Wow. But it's like, even if you take it at face value, it's like, how does this little fucking compass have all this power? Why is the compass connected to keeping Salazar in the Bermuda Triangle? How are these things connected? And like, is it not the Bermuda Triangle itself that keeps him there and curses him? Why is the compass
I think so.
betraying Johnny Depp, letting him go free?
That was never established before, right? Like, this is something that this movie just decided to introduce, where they were like, "Oh, you can't betray the compass." Well, why was this never brought up before?
But it's like, it's a fucking little compass. How is it keeping this curse intact? But it's also the Bermuda Triangle that is actually the cursed place. Like, these things just don't connect logically at all. It's just, what do we have, and how do we just write it so we have Salazar coming into the movie?
Yeah. You know what I appreciate? They don't try to do a big reveal with Barbosa being the father. Like, the moment they meet, it's made like, you, the viewer, and then Jack and Barbosa have a conversation about it. It's like, this movie could have very easily tried to trick you into not connecting the dots. You know what I mean? I'm happy that they just like, okay, we'll just be very overt about things.
I'm gonna be honest, if I didn't know he is her father, I'm not sure if I would have guessed it. I'm not sure if I guessed it the first time.
No, because like, she's talking about like, well, he's like, where do you get that stone from? And he's just like, well, I got it from my father. He abandoned me at an orphanage. And he's like, oh, well, what's your name? Oh, your name is Smith. It's like, it's, I don't know.
Sure. Daniel, did you guess before it is revealed?
No, I'm saying they reveal it right away when they first talk about it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, this movie is inferior to just movies, but it could have been, like, there could have been a worse version where they try to also tack on, like, oh, and by the way, I'm your father, and like, they do that, but they don't try to do it as a reveal for the audience.
Okay, sure.
They gave us that credit at least.
It's just a reveal to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good quote. Good quote, by the way. This movie is inferior to movies.
That's pretty funny. I did kinda like the scene where she like sees the tattoo and she's like, "When am I to you?" And he just says treasure, and I was like, that's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. I did like that. Yeah, this movie sucks. This movie's balls.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it being balls was kind of fun. Like, I kind of had fun with it being bad.
Also, I forget a little bit. They get the trident at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And the trident commands the seas too, doesn't it?
Yeah, whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever that means. Like, so, hey, Barbosa, you don't have to die. Let me just return you to us. Oh, no, I guess we're not doing that. What?
Maybe they can bring him back.
They did it once.
They did before.
Well, I guess Calypso's gone. I just feel like,
Well, Calypso's dead, or not dead, but she's not helping anymore.
You don't enter the weeds of asking these sorts of questions about the minute logic of this magical pirate universe if the movie's good. Like, if the movie's good, you just watch it and you're like, oh yeah, I never thought about that. And I never will, because it doesn't matter. But when the movie's shit, you're like, well, shit, I guess I gotta entertain myself somehow.
You know, I keep thinking about the fact that the first movie could have been the last movie because it's so self-contained. Yeah. It doesn't leave anything really lingering, I guess, except for kind of sort of the teaser after the credits. But like, you could have just removed that or ignored it. And like, that first movie could have been the only Pirates movie. And it could have been this like...
Remind me, what was the teaser again? It's not to do with the coins, is it?
Yeah, it is. The monkey like grabs the coin.
That's right. That's right. I love that. I love that they kept the monkey as a skeleton monkey. That's a fun little like, yeah, we'll enjoy our universe. Whatever.
But why was the curse not lifted on the monkey?
Because he stole another coin.
Oh. Okay. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just like, because then we get to have this undead monkey. It's funny.
Sure. I think I didn't see that thing. I think I didn't see the teaser.
Yeah, it's honestly. Like after the credits.
And that's why it always confused me why the monkey is still cursed. Okay. Good to know. But it's like, I do believe that I'm pretty consistent here in terms of what I want out of these movies.
Sure.
And that's why the fifth movie is just the worst, because it is like it doesn't have the good performances of the first three, but it has all the CGI nonsense, overblown, like magical garbage that doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. It's not scaled back at all. It's just all the worst qualities of these movies that I hate combined in one.
Do you, I wonder, you do see like a quality difference in the, the second movie and third movie especially, like blow up the world, go like really crazy with the presentation. But like those movies, at least it's in service of like a story and like these themes and ideas of adventure and such. Whereas in the fifth, like you see the quality distinction between what they did with it and what this movie's doing, right?
Yeah, I see the second one, I can see the better writing, and the third one still, even though I hate the script, is like all the production value, even the sequence where they bring him back to life. Like, I hate that in terms of what it means to the universe, but it is interesting, and it is sort of, it looks cool, and it is creative and weird. Nothing in the fifth movie is creative and weird. It's just it's just slop.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel real either. That fucking fight at the end where they split the sea couldn't look more fake. It really couldn't. And then you don't get the cool Johnny Depp performance. You know, he just his performance couldn't be worse.
Yeah, this is filmed during his.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
This is filmed during his like worst stint of. And I, again, don't want to litigate the man's personal life. Like, substance abuse is no joke. But this is sure. like this was a real, like, if you know about what was going on in his personal life at the time, like this is when he's breaking up with Amber Heard, and I think he was living off of like $50,000 of wine every month, and you're just like, again, like nobody is there to read the script to check whether or not we're retconning the whole thing, and and like you have this massive movie being made.
He doesn't care.
You have this, well, I mean, like you have this massive movie being made. It's like $300 million to make this movie, and nobody on set is like, hey, Johnny Depp has to go to rehab, and then we'll restart production. They're just like, no, we'll just steamroll it through production anyways. It's like, yeah, okay, I guess. And like, you know, this is the movie you get. Congratulations.
Yeah. Dude, what, side note, but what the fuck was this entire wedding scenario?
Yeah, that
what
wedding scene came
that?
out of fucking nowhere. I was just like, what is this? Like, and they're just like, this poor woman, they make her look like shit, and they just have a scene like making fun of her, and I'm like, this is so mean-spirited.
Were like, any of these characters I was supposed to know?
Yeah. And you know what? I could imagine, like, because you hit the nail on the head, it feels mean-spirited. Whereas, like, a similar joke in previous movies is like, oh, it's these prostitutes that Jack has hung around with. You're, like, exploring his past. And it's like, you know, you don't degrade them. They just, like, slap him because he's a prick. And, you know, and even with, like, with Norrington, with the pigs, there's, like, there's a sadness to it. Because there's a man of, like, great dignity. And, like, you know, because you watched the first movie, that, like, this is a good guy. And he's just had a really rough go at it. And this is just, like, ha, she's fat and ugly, and Johnny Depp has to marry her. And he's like,
Yeah.
It's just like, okay.
What the fuck was that?
And then also it comes right after they barely escape with their lives.
Yeah.
By these fucking zombie sharks that they get attacked by.
It feels like this scene and many others feels like you just needed to glue together 2 action set pieces and you didn't have any idea. So we'll just have a different kind of scene. And also we need Barbossa and Jack to meet each other. And it's like, this is how we'll do it.
Okay. I think that's it. I don't think there is really much else to say about this 5th movie. It's just kind of ass. It's just not a good movie.
I think it's aggressively bad.
It's pretty good, guys. I mean,
it makes me angry. It makes me really, really angry.
Would you guys like another one?
No.
No
more Pirates movies.
What if Gore Verbinski came back and he had like Stephen McFreely and he had like his original couple of writers, and you know Johnny Depp Johnny Depp came back and he was like, look, the last movies, like I was in a bad place in my life, but I love the character because Johnny Depp did say he's never working with Disney again after the whole thing about being fired from a potential next Pirates movie or whatever. And there's no problem in the world money can't fix. If he comes back and also he comes back and it's clear that he's interested in it and he's sober. You're like, you know, you get that. Would you want to see another one? Or is this a license you just put on ice or figure out something else to do with it?
I honestly, if they are going to bring it back, I think they just need to wipe the slate clean.
Okay.
I think it needs to do something new, something different. It can't be a remake or some bullshit like that. Just do something new, do something different. Don't even mention Jack Sparrow.
You can have not a cameo. Happen. That's fun. But, you know,
sure.
He is. You do
maybe a wink or a nod.
Then you have this shit like, I don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean: The Next Generation, you know, where it's like what they're doing with these stupid Ghostbusters movies.
It felt like that's what they were trying to do though with this 5th movie. That's why they had like, oh, it's Will Turner's kid and it's Barbossa's kid, and they're gonna I guess they might do something in another movie.
We might get a movie of them having sex.
Well, they didn't, though, because it was shit.
No, but like you watch the beginning of the 3rd movie. I think the first sort of like before they go into the afterlife, I think that pretty definitively shows that no, you can do a solid Pirates of the Caribbean adventure without Jack Sparrow. You do not need him. You just need the energy. Like, and Barbossa can fill a part of the role, and you just like again, I think, you know, you can make a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. You don't need to rest it on Jack Sparrow. So yeah, I don't know. Do you guys want another one of these?
No, I don't.
Okay. I don't want it, but if it's going to happen, like I said, wipe the slate clean and don't use Jack Sparrow unless it's like you said, like a cameo or something, because otherwise that's what's really dragging these movies down is like this insistence on, what's it called? Flanderizing. His character's so flanderized by the 5th movie. Like he's just a caricature of himself. Like what the fuck's the point?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the tragedy of this franchise is that I think the movies would, you know, be perfectly fine movies without him. I don't think they'd make any money. I think people don't like Pirates of the Caribbean. I think they like Jack Sparrow. And I think that's I think that's a problem with the way they built these movies.
Yeah, sure. And I'm just against IP milking and nostalgia bait in general. Like on principle, I'm against that shit. And as much as I love the first movie, if there was another movie like it, I don't need it to be Pirates of the Caribbean. Do something else. Do something else in the Pacific or whatever. You know?
Make another cool pirate movie.
Yeah, make another cool pirate movie. Make it modern, make it old. I don't give a fuck. I care about the performances and the atmosphere and you know, whenever they go more into the world of this, I don't like it. So no, let it die.
What if Disney, instead of doing Pirates of the Caribbean movies, what if they did Alice in Wonderland movies and Johnny Depp was the Mad Hatter and it was all CGI? Would you watch that?
Was that the Tim Burton one?
Yeah, not the one? And it made $1.2 billion. It made $1.2 billion.
I never watched that. So
yeah, I never watched them either. They look like trash.
The first one,
made like all the money in the world. The second was a terrible, horrible flop. And I'm so happy that it was. Did not deserve any money.
I'm just kind of surprised they didn't bring this IP back yet, because it is a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
And they are milking everything else. So what's keeping
They're
them
working
from
on
this?
it.
They're working on there's the Margot Robbie reboot Pirates movie that's been in the work for like 7 years or whatever. I think there are rumblings of like another one with Jack Sparrow that they want to do. But again, like that's you're gonna have to pay him a lot of money. But also like it's an interesting enough world that you could like you could write Pirates of the Caribbean books. You know, just like Indiana Jones, just have adventures in this universe. Like I don't know.
I think we need to put a cap on this. I think we're done talking about these movies.
I am surprised how long we talked about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically, we've been going for the length of a Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
the length of the third one, at least.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey,
I thought this would be over in an hour, honestly, but apparently not.
I think that's one final thing I'll say then. I don't like Pirates of the Caribbean 3. The best thing I can say for it is that I don't feel the length, really. Like, it's a 3-hour movie. I feel like, it's got a kind of a cracking pace. And if you disagree, you're a moron.
Okay.
Well, Daniel,
I guess
did you
I'm
just
a moron.
Yeah, did you just disagree?
Yeah, I did disagree. I thought the movie.
That's a pretty big self-own on your part there.
I like how you're just bringing back some random point about the third movie after we're done talking about it.
It was like a couple of hours ago, man. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess just to put a bow on this, it was kind of nice revisiting the first two movies because I was like, oh man, I saw these when I was younger. They're still pretty good movies. The rest of them are a wash.
Yeah, diminishing returns maybe with each entry.
I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah, these movies are diminishing returns, absolutely. And I will never forgive you for this, Bouken.
If you're watching and you haven't watched these movies, watch the first three. The third is a dip in quality. You should still watch it, at least the one time. Yeah, I would say that. It's worth the
I can
watch.
agree with that because they kind of belong together, even though...
Yeah. And there's a lot of really good things in it, and it's a pretty good movie, like we all agreed.
Yes, the third one is lovely.
And then watch the fourth and the fifth one, so that you'll feel the third one is even better in comparison.
No.
I mean, I will say the fourth and fifth movies do make the third one look way better by comparison. It's
also no.
I guess you can also watch the fourth one, and then you can comment what you think about Bouken's assessment of these things.
I think I made myself clear. And it's, again, I'm defending the fourth one. It is not a great movie. I see all the flaws. I just like what it does more than the others.
So, Acer, you got something lined up for us for next time?
So, like I said, I wanted to be a bit more elaborate, like ruminate on this, find something really fun. We're going to do Pluto, Naoki Urasawa's Pluto, the manga and the anime, I guess.
What? I have to read a manga?
Oh, well, I was going to recommend the manga. I haven't seen the anime. I was just recommending the manga.
Okay.
My understanding is the anime is a pretty faithful adaptation. There's like small tweaks to some things. But what I really wanted to do is I wanted to do the manga and I wanted to do the Astro Boy episode. It's one episode called like The World's Greatest Robot from the original Astro Boy cartoon from like the 60s or 70s or whatever that Pluto is completely based on. And I think that would have been an interesting watch if we can add one extra 20-minute episode of Astro Boy in there.
How long is the manga? It can't be very long, right?
It's like 8 books. I have it on my shelf here. I can send you a photo of it after we're done. It's like 8 books. They're not very thick. It's not like Berserk volume thickness.
Maybe we can decide putting the anime on the list as well. Because I have seen it and I didn't feel much about it. It was decent, but that's where I at least appreciate seeing the manga for a different view. But then we might as well bring the anime in it as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was planning on just watching the anime, but I guess I'll read the manga as well.
You guys have to buy a bunch of books, and then you have to shell out a lot of money. So here is the I just sent it in chat. Here's the it's those 8 books at their top there.
That looks like more than what the fuck was the thing Daniel recommended?
Huh?
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim.
No, Scott Pilgrim was only like 6 books.
Yeah, I'm saying it looks more than that.
But yeah, because I'm moving, I couldn't find time to really crack the old Aesir noggin for something crazy to show you guys. So it's Pluto, but next time I'll find something really crazy. You better watch. There's more kids on the hallway.
I've been meaning to get around to Pluto anyways, so this is just a good excuse to actually do it.
I feel like this also might win me some points. Because now, I recommended something that everybody will probably enjoy. Maybe not Bouken.
I didn't. No. I still liked it. It's still good.
Okay. But yeah.
You know what was really funny?
Oh.
I mean, I was with my girlfriend earlier, and I told her about
Must be nice.
The podcast. I've told her I was doing the podcast recording today, and then she asked me what else you recommended.
Oh.
And then I was like, yeah, his recommendations are kind of like hit and miss. And then I was trying to go through what you actually recommended. And I was like, yeah, I mean, Watchmen was one of the best things I've ever seen. And then, well, okay, Yu-Gi-Oh was trash. Well, okay, Superman was trash. Well, Code Geass was trash.
That wasn't just me. I did Full Metal Alchemist. That was pretty good.
And Full Metal Alchemist I also hated. So more miss than hit, I guess.
I think my track record has been pretty good.
Your track record is better, yes.
I have never... Daniel, half the time, picks something specifically to bully one of us. I have always just come to you guys from the heart and been like, let's watch Code Geass. I want to share my...
When have I picked something to bully someone?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either.
I was...
I think you made that up. I think you made that up on the spot.
I'm gonna be real with you, Daniel. I was hoping you wouldn't pick up on that.
Because I feel like I have only ever recommended stuff that I genuinely really like and wanted to just share with you guys. And I feel like every single time...
Hey, hold on. I have done that as well. It's just Aesir being pissy about little magical girls.
This is true.
I'm still pissy about that. Hey, what's the worst recommendation? Was it Yu-Gi-Oh? Was it mine? You two hated Superman.
No, Daniel
I didn't hate Superman.
You didn't hate Superman?
Hate it.
Oh.
I hated it.
No, Bouken hated it.
And the worst thing we watched is still Elfenlied. And that wasn't really a recommendation by anybody.
I don't know. I'm not gonna. You know what? I stood up for Elfenlied to the extent that I care to in that episode.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
We added another thing.
Right.
Is this worse than Elfenlied?
No, Elfenlied. I feel like Elfenlied offended me personally more. I think a part of it's like I have a history with Elfenlied, so I just personally have such a disdain for it that the 4th and 5th Pirates movies just can't even compare.
I thought this was fun.
Yeah,
this was fun.
I recommended Monster Book, and you liked Monster.
No. Wait, I thought Daniel recommended that.
He did.
Wait.
I hoped he did. I was hoping again he didn't notice.
Yeah, because Aesir recommended Code Geass, and then you went, okay, then let's watch Monster.
That's funny. I actually forgot that I recommended it.
I thought it was like that. It's been a while.
No, it was like that. It was. I didn't recommend Code Geass. I think we just sort of talked our way into it, didn't we? That was before we had real recommendation. I feel like it was just me and Daniel because we've been kicking Code Geass about since the first time we recorded even, because I talked favorably about it and you were like, I don't like that, and I was like, oh yeah, actually maybe this show I watched when I was younger sucks.
So we had been kicking it around for a little bit. I wonder what part of, like, if this is still, like, the audience is still listening to this.
It doesn't end. It's like a Pirates movie.
Goes on forever.
All right, let's actually finish it for real. All right, everyone, this has been the Essays and Espresso podcast. I have been your host, Daniel.
I've been
verbally.
The fuck up? I was trying to talk.
No, you shut the fuck up. I'm the host. You shut the fuck up. I have been joined by my good buddies. I don't know if I should call them that anymore, though, after this fucking shit. Bouken.
Yes, me. I hope we're still friends.
Yes, you.
I hope you forgive me.
And Acer.
You can call me Aesir, like in essays. That's my name when I'm on the podcast now.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Just clocking out of the factory. Goodbye.